Oh. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Leeroy and Matt are in the house tonight. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
How is everyone? How are you?
I'm just wonderful. World is my oyster. Donations will be a little late tonight. Olivia is running to the pet store to get some crickets for the lizard. And no, that's not some sort of
Code.
Yeah. Got a lot to talk about with the fires. Got some Shawn Ryan news that is going to put Ryan Macbeth where he belongs in the halls of Karens, and why certain people shouldn't do the job that Leeroy and I do. There are shitbags in every branch of the military. That is the way it is. Everyone tells you, oh, military people are heroes. No, they're not. Most heroes are dead. Okay? Let's just be honest. Most of the heroes that I know are no longer living. And if you... Well, we'll talk about it. I'll explain my opinion. Leeroy will obviously get to explain his. But I can't stand these guys who were one and done or had no reason to get out, got out, and you know, now they're flexing the arms of freedom and democracy and trampling on real heroes, people who've done amazing things, and we're going to talk about it tonight. Talk about global warming. Texas got snow, but Texas gets snow, but we'll talk about it. Talk about these fires, talk about the craziness that is all inclusive in this crazy ass week and beginning of 2025. We'll be right back. 3 minutes. See ya in just a few. Go over to Wimkin and sign up.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The Dumb Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The Dumb Show on social media or thedumbshow.com.
We need to have him back.
I agree. He's been busy.
He's
doing all sorts of crazy stuff. He's doing
with
movies.
Your hosts, Matt Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia.
They don't send me flowers. Eli, Ryan, they said how much they enjoyed it.
Coming
But
to you live on all major social media channels.
Ryan likes my
show.
stuff often, and I got to reach out to him.
Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matthew Spear. Olivia is not here tonight. Neither is Amy. This is Leeroy. He is a good friend of the show and is one hell of a nice guy.
Aw, what a nice guy.
What a nice guy.
I love that.
Baby, please.
What is going on, folks?
Nothing much.
What's that?
Dude. Nothing much. I was like, is it three? Three snitching glubin on my limit. I think it's 3.
15 is my limit on Schnitzengruben.
It's on snitching glubin. It's two. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We had a good show for you tonight. A lot happening in the world. Leeroy is really close to the camera, so is there any chance we can pull back just a little bit? Jeez,
Nobody's ever told me to pull out before.
Every time we do the show, I got to tell you to step back. I mean, I don't understand.
How's that? Is that better?
It's better. It's better. We got to tell me when the sun moves out so we can get you your
No, you know what it is. As I get older, I need to be closer in order to read it.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
My eyes.
Stop. So we'll talk about it. I got to send you some pictures. It's about enough time passed in between where we got to help you set this damn thing up. Donations are interesting tonight. I will try to keep up with them. I know we've already got a huge one already in, which we can't thank you enough. And we'll go into it when Olivia gets back. But if you have not had a chance, go over to thedumbshow.com. Thedumbshow.com. This is it. You'll see stay in touch. That doesn't mean I'm going to send you spam. In fact, I never send you emails. Minus like things like that are really big for the show or something. But you can sign up, get an email, and you'll be notified of new product and stuff like that. But this site's built for you, man. It's got everything. And it is. I have talked to a crap ton of people who have said, build me your site. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to mention who, but somebody offered me $15,000 to build this site for them. And I said no.
Wow.
So it's a painstaking, but it's very unique, and it is built for you, and it's everything you want to know about the show. It's got all the Dumb Club members, everything else. But if you are interested in doing some shopping, it is the place to go. You can go and get new product by clicking right there. Boom, simple. And when you scroll down, all the new product. We just got the Sherpa blanket in. These things have been selling like freaking hotcakes. I had to ask my printing company to reprint more. I think we had 12 orders in the first few minutes. It was ridiculous. People just hit it, and I didn't expect it. But it's a Dumb Nation blanket. It's Sherpa. They are super soft, super comfortable. They are amazing blankets. They are on sale. And you can go in here and get coffee and other stuff. But if you want to donate, which is to help the show, because we greatly appreciate it, thedumbshow.com/donate. And if you do that, it'll take you to the donation page. You can go to PayPal. You can go to the mail and snail mail it, or Venmo. Real simple, folks. All you do is click it. 100% secure, easy. We've had, I think we had our 1,000th donation last night. We have hit 1,000 donations in under a year, which is pretty incredible.
That is.
Yeah, and you can go right here and donate to the show if you want to, and that's it. Pretty simple and easy, and we will keep up with those. And you pay for the show because Facebook has decided to cut us off. But we do have a viral post happening right now. I'll show you the picture. Wound up getting this picture. I couldn't find who it was accredited to, but this was Los Angeles this morning.
Look at that.
Yeah, and I just put up there, I said, God, man, it looks like hell on earth. And this thing has now been seen 3.5 million times in less than 8 hours. It's circulating. It's going viral. So it's probably going to be one of our biggest posts we've ever done. But you can go and see it. But this thing will be clicking right here in my shoulder here. This 293. It's 180 or 206,000 people. But we've gained like 1,000 followers today. So welcome to those people. We should have a good show. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, I was flipping through Facebook just the other day, and I realized that there was a message on there from the Zuckerberg, who had basically he's done this backpedaling in the last few weeks with regard to the idea of censoring people, right? And so he's come across very apologetic, very, hey, look, we have to monitor some content because we don't want people selling organs on Facebook. Completely understand. I get it. But now he's trying to like win back an audience, so to speak. And I think that's because of this reinvigoration into the idea that new social media could come up and overtake Facebook. And the vibe that I was getting from that was one of, all right, look, we're going to stop we're going to stop censoring everyone as badly as we have been for the last 4 years because of one very old President Joe Biden. But now I'm wondering, Matt, do we think that we will be remonetized?
No, because here's the thing. It's a great question. We talked about it last night. There was no accountability for correcting the behavior. It was simply, we're going to stop what we did, even though it was wrong, but we're not going to go ahead and, give clemency or reinstate accounts that have been affected by these fact checkers or people who were lumped into the conservative movement who were censored. I mean, you know it. You remember, I talked about this conversation last night. You weren't there. But like 1 month before all this happened, I was sat down with you and Amy and I said, you guys, some good things are happening. We're moving towards Spreely. This is happening. We are making $15,000 a month. And that is now more than I was making as a VP with a little extra. We are good. And now we can start profit sharing and helping and everyone can pitch in. And you remember this conversation. Mm-hmm. And literally a week after that, bam, they just all monetization stopped from lives, from reels, from everything. And there was no reason why. I mean, my account is green. It's been green for 2.5 years. When I first got into this biz, there were things I didn't know, and I got strikes for telling people to fuck off and stuff like that. And I can't do that, so I stopped that type of stuff, and I've been clean ever since. I don't have copyright strikes. I get along with most content creators. I don't steal people's shit. I always give them credit. I'm fair, and we don't spread conspiracy theory. Yet, for some reason, my live shows, right now, you will not see an ad, even though ads are live, and I'm 100% able to collect money from ads. You won't see any ads. You can't see any stars. For some reason, I have no stars. You can't donate to the show that way. So all of this, Leroy, in my opinion, this is all window dressing until he says, listen, you can talk about the future, but it doesn't help the legacy you've left behind by being a platform of censorship. You openly admitted you were censoring people and shutting them down financially. How does that not open him up to a class action lawsuit? How does that not open up his company? So in my opinion, I did the estimation last night, 16 months now, $15,000 a month. They owe us like $250,000. $250,000 is what they owe us. And can you imagine where we would be with $250,000?
Oh,
you would have gotten 50. Amy would have gotten 50. We would have put another 50 into the business, plus the money that we get from donations and Wimkin and everything else. We would be happier than a pig in shit. And we would be moving towards when you retire doing this full time and you have a job and Amy has a job. Now we're going to get there, but it's frustrating, So to see that our company was taken down to nubs and then we had to rebuild it again. And luckily we've rebuilt it because of the viewers who are awesome. This is where we're at, dude.
I get it. I was just curious. I'm wondering if there's a new wave of conservatism that is floating through good old Zuckerberg's noodle, in this idea that, hey, I need to win back some favor with politicians and my constituents, and certainly with the users of Facebook.
He can start with me. He can start with me. Like fix Damani, fix me, fix Ryan Samuels, fix Ryan Weaver, fix everybody who you have screwed over. All-American Girl, Conservative Mama, Republican Girl, There's so many people who you have just screwed over and bent over the table. Build your relationship with Jason from Wimkin and stop throttling Wimkin and seeing them as a threat. If you can't afford 9 million people, seriously, it's a drop in the bucket for Facebook. That's probably their ebb and flow quarterly. So I think Zuck is protecting his ass. I think Zuck realizes that it's do or die time for his platform, and he needs the majority party to be in his corner, and he is going to try to lure conservatives back. And I would say we should be very, very cautious of Mark Zuckerberg, because I don't consider him an ally at all.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, you've been watching these fires.
I have. Oh, heartbreaking.
And oh God, dude. Yeah, it's insane. And what's hilarious is like, it's where I grew up. All right there is Ventura, California, and all along the 101. And Ventura had this fire 2 years ago where it came in and just wiped out Ventura. And now it's hitting Palisades and other places. But these are all, I mean, everything's fairly, Los Angeles County is huge, right? I lived in Ventura County, but Malibu and the 101, we went up to Malibu almost every weekend. I mean, that was the place to go. And you know, you would go and, you know, get some great seafood, and they always had live music, and it was an amazing vibe. It's all gone, dude. It's all gone. So here is a picture of this from.
Oh my God. God, that looks like something out of Independence Day, you know?
It does, dude. It does. It absolutely does. And this one is just like, dude, right? Not this one. This one just, dude, hit me right in the core.
Oh, look!
Because I know right where this is at. Like, this is just terrifying, right? Terrifying. Look at the amount of damage and look at the footprint. I mean, you are talking. They say thousands. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's 5,000 in this picture alone. There's 5,000 homes in here.
Yeah.
I mean, a little square block is going to get you 75 to 100 homes. You can do the math. I mean, this whole thing is burned. So I wanted to talk about this, but I also have to monitor the donations and stuff too. So I'm going to try to do both. And then when you're sure. talking, I'm going to kick them in, not to be rude. And I apologize, but I got to get them in somehow. So if you go back, I believe it was March of 2021. It was really, really close to fire season in California. And I don't know if you remember this, but you may have been on, but I did a show and it had to do with the fires. And I said, the biggest terrorist threat right now is not a nuke, isn't any type of ELINT or hack or whatever. It is somebody, and I hate to do this because this is what they did after 9/11, telling ways of how terrorists can hurt America. But I'll just be honest. Is you could grab 50 flares and go to Santa Paula, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley, Santa Barbara, Carpinteria. You could go to Venice. You could go to Topanga, Northridge, Hollywood Hills, and drop a flare. And you could literally cost $1 trillion worth of damage in Los Angeles and burn the entire city down. One well-placed flare in certain areas with prevailing winds, and the entire thing will go up like a Roman candle. I've got some photos tonight to explain. I wanted to show people what it kind of feels like. I've lived through one of these. I was that guy in the house with the whole fucking forest on fire around them. I got to live through that, and it is one of the most terrifying things I've ever experienced in my life. But we're going to show you what that feels like. But Leroy, that if you can find, I can find that episode and try to link it to people. But to me, our water, our filtration systems, our power grids, and hitting areas like Los Angeles with flares is probably the cheapest and most effective way to, or just pop them and throw them out the window in your car and just drive.
Sure.
And you're going to create a catastrophic experience that we're seeing now, or possibly worse. I want to get your opinions on this.
Well, I think every part of the country has their issues, right? Certainly if you New Orleans and try and plan something, thank you, Bobby. If you were going to try and plan something with the specific intended goal of doing as much damage as humanly possible, you'd go to New Orleans and you try and find a way to pop a levee, right?
Right.
In California, unfortunately, that's going to be fires because they have such strong winds there, and when the environmental conditions are just right, the whole area turns into a cinder box, and so you have to worry. It would not take a whole lot with somebody who had some level of motivation and a little bit of know-how about our geography to do a tremendous amount of damage. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Well, it just I'm not trying to give people ideas, but this is an example, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's as simple as a couple of well-placed dynamite sticks in Vail during the heavy season of winter or Telluride can take out an entire town.
Right.
I mean, these are things. It doesn't cost much to get a drone, fly it up to a snow line, and pop off an explosive, 5 or 6 of them, and you're going to create an avalanche that will wipe out the entire. That's like, it's not hard. This stuff is not hard to do. And our government needs to be thinking differently, because with the rise of ISIS-like and Al-Qaeda type groups, which are starting to ISIS-K and these other groups, the UA, whatever they are. You and I both forget their name because we're old. But these type of things are the next level of eco-terrorism that we need to be aware of. And I was talking about Joe Rogan. I have a clip where he was talking about it, and I found one of his, and I did mine before him, not that he watched my show. But like-minded people are thinking the same. I lived in California most of my life. I know what it takes to keep those areas safe, and my father did a lot of that work. Real quick, my nephew, R3, Randy Raymond Jr., is an amazing kid. I mean, excellent athlete, 4.0, survived cancer at a young age, and now is a fireman for Bakersfield County, and he is on standby right now. And he was going to come on tonight and talk to us, but he's like, I can't, Uncle Matt. I'm working, and I wouldn't feel right while I'm on call to get on the show because they're not paying me to be on a show. And I'm like, dude, you come on whenever. Leroy and I want to talk to you. But it's insane. He has fought most of these fires in California, or been a part of them for the last few years. And his mom is just a huge fan of the show. They're good family friends. They're my cousins, obviously. And they are like, we're so proud of him. And it's just an incredibly, I know people are like, this is California's fault, but these are human beings. I don't care what their political affiliation is. We know the government. I don't care. But you can have empathy for California and not condone the way that the politicians have created a lot of this, okay? So, I mean, we just need to find our humanity again, people. I don't like California anymore either. I fled. I left. But we can be a little nicer. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, and to go back a minute into the conversation, when we were talking about this, I mean, we kind of hypothesized what would happen with people who had intent to do harm. What Matt and I are also talking about is kind of this level of incompetence within the government of California, both city and state, that has let those people down. And you're absolutely right. I hold no ill will towards the people of California, even some of those left-wing nutball actors that I don't like Jimmy Kimmel and that kind of thing. I still don't want their homes to be burned down. Nobody wants that. I don't want anybody's lives in danger or anything like that. People, a couple months ago, I invited James Woods to come on the show. He and I actually got to chatting a little bit, and he wasn't able to come on. But I'm seeing that his home is now completely gone, and he's now spending time in a hotel.
I got a video of that we're going to watch.
Yeah. And so when we start talking about the failures of government, this is separate from anybody who had any sort of ill will or the intent to do harm in a state like that. also continue think about the level of government incompetence.
Right.
Something that I do before every show, folks, is I'll scrub through all of the headlines. I get locked up in a big steel box all day, and they really don't let me out too often. And I'm able to see some things, but most of it is related to things that are happening exterior to the country. So when I hop in the car and I hop in my, start my way home, that's really when I get a sense of, all right, what happened in the United States today? And everything has been about the fires. And so when I got home and I started flipping through a couple of news stories and this kind of thing, I came across a New York Post that talks about how Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass faced scorching, pun intended, criticism Wednesday as it was revealed that she cut the city's fire department budget by $17.6 million ahead of this week's devastating fires. And you read these kind of things and you go, why? I understand that there are people out there who absolutely depend on the government. I get it. And to that end, you should have we should be able to have some faith in the government. But when you see stories like this, where they cut $17 million out of the budget, there's another story from NBC that talks about the Palisades. Yeah, here it is. The city of Palisades, from the water department, they had issued a statement. According to the water department, crews trying to reroute water at one point had to evacuate because of the fire's intensity. Quote unquote, we have 3 large water tanks, about 1 million gallons each. We ran out of water in the first tank at about 4:45 yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank, and this goes on. They ran out of water to fight these fires. I mean, you can only place so much faith in the government, and you always hear from Republicans, and I'm not making this political, but I will say this. This is one thing we get right. You always hear from the people who are right-leaning that you need to adopt this philosophy of no one is coming to save you, right? There's a level of self-preparedness that everyone needs to take ownership of, and it's because of shit like this.
A lot of that we're going to cover tonight. We got a whole bunch of that. It's a good recap of what we're going to be covering.
Yeah, sorry if I went on too long.
No. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to put it into words when it comes to what's happening here. Is that a lot of California is conservative, and there are a ton of conservative places, and I grew up in most of them. And California is a beautiful place and has a special place in my heart. And people are like, it's a shithole. Well, you've probably never been there. Yeah, you've been to LA, but you've never been to Ventura. You've never been to Santa Barbara.
Right.
You've never been to Oxnard. You've never been to Vacaville or wherever. And there, it's an amazing place to live. And the weather's fantastic. And honestly, the roads are fantastic when you get out of the big city. But San Diego, California, in Los Angeles and San Francisco, they're shitholes, like most liberal-run cities. But California has a lot to offer. It's expensive, but it's not as expensive as Houston, Texas is now. You can go to Bakersfield, you can get a $300,000, $400,000 home. That's a mansion. I know, because I own one. I go to Houston, Texas, and I got the same thing with a pool and 3 stories. And, and then I go to Virginia, and it's, $1 million. So California's not the most expensive place in the world I've ever lived. That's here in Virginia and Ashburn. And it is one of the best places in the world to live. Hands down, the best place in the United States to live. Best education, lowest crime. It's got it all. But you pay for it. So I don't hate California. I don't like their leadership at all. I don't like their politics. And I don't like where a lot of that stuff comes from. But there's a lot of people in California who are good people, and I'm not going to sit here and bash California when most of my family, who I actually care about, are from California. But you have to understand is that we have to be critical of the politics without making this political.
Exactly.
Because the politics have a big responsibility in what's happening. It's the same politics in Lahaina, in Hawaii. The same type of decisions were made there. And the problem is that when you see a fire coming, you have to understand the speeds that it's moving. Okay? And it's really important for you because you don't understand. Unless you've been in one of these and you haven't, some of you may have, but most of you haven't. I'm telling you, you don't know what this is like. And I'm going to try to show it to you tonight so you can understand. So we'll do that. As far as donations, folks, thedumbshow.com/donate. Bobby, thank you so much for your donation. I will try to keep track of them. If you guys like the show and like what we do, please. We've got a lot of people on already, and we would certainly appreciate it. Minus a few trolls who I've had to block on Twitter because, they're just the liberals on Twitter. My God. The first thing I want to do is we talked about kind of the threat, right? And that this is one of the only fires I've ever seen in U.S. history, or at least as I've been alive, is that I haven't seen a cause of the fire yet. Most of the time within the first 24 to 48 hours, you have the cause of the fire. The fact that Lahaina was very similar is because of the veracity of the fire and how much area it's taken. The cause is harder to discern because when you have 80 miles an hour, 100 mile an hour winds, the hot spots of that fire are all the same. And the egress point of the fire, where it starts to move out of its own footprint, is difficult to discern. And you can find a starting point, but that is the problem with these fires is it takes some investigation. The problem is that a lot of the material evidence is gone. And the reason why is high winds are a pain in the ass for fire investigators, especially on open fires. They are very difficult to identify origination points, but also a lack of material evidence to identify. So most of these things like Lahaina took them almost a month, 2 months to come out with the power lines. We knew it was prevailing winds. This we know is prevailing winds, but origination point is what concerns me, and we should understand what that means and what that looks like, and we will. I want to show you first, a lot of people are like, hey, Matt, why can't they just go ahead and bring in a couple of bombers and just hit this thing with something called, slurry and extinguish these, or AFFF, aqueous free-forming foam, which will essentially take the oxygen, smother the fire, and make all type of fuel obsolete because of its capabilities to, it's very slimy, it's very slick, it's very soapy, and it snuffs out fires, AFF. There's a reason why. I'll show you why. Here's the video, and Leeroy can tell us what aircraft these are, because we always like to play this game. Besides Park the Platypus, we like to play this game. You're only going to have you're going to have a 1 o'clock, and you're only going to have under fuselage for about maybe a second and a half. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, it's going to flash. Okay, this one you know.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, of course it's easy.
That's a big girl.
Yeah, C-130.
God, look at that.
God, she's a beast. Now, I want to show you something. First of all,
God,
do you see that position?
Crosswinds on that.
Yes, that's right. He knows. So explain to them what's going on so they understand what's happening with the wind and why why this doesn't look right and why it isn't right. They may not know.
So what's happening there? You see that the aircraft, as it's at one point, it's facing directly towards the camera, and then as the footage advances, the thing ends up getting pushed off frame. It almost looks like it's synthetic, like it's not real, like it's bad CGI. Yeah, but what's happening is the crosswinds there, and they're talking about the winds in California being 100+ miles an hour. So when you've got a high level of crosswinds like that, it's going to push it way off course. And so the pilot, I have to give appreciation I think we all need to give appreciation to the pilots who have to contend with those types of conditions, because they have to try and correct for where they're dropping that firefighting compound while fighting these winds. It's an amazing thing. You know, one of my favorite movies of all time, and I say that because this was the last movie that I got to watch with my dad before he passed, but it was a movie called Only the Brave, and it was about the hotshots that I want to say they were in Utah, and the amazing people, right? They go out and they fight fires with no water. And they do that by trimming hedges and cutting down trees, and they do pre-burns, right? Because they figure if you remove all of the fuel from an area, that there would be nothing for the main fire to come in and feed into. And during a portion of that movie, they show this kind of thing. And these aircraft, these pilots that have to, coordinate their drops in conjunction with the fire crews that are on the ground actively fighting this, they are heroes, hands down.
So a lot of people have questions, and yeah, he's all on the stick. So his rudder is kicked. Actually, he's not.
Oh my God,
the wind is coming here, and he's overcompensating. So he's actually trying to turn this thing 45 degrees, and because of the wind, is getting offset push to like a 30-degree tap. So if you watch, he's gonna full turn on his aft rudder like in a ship, and you can see that is making him. Now, not only that, but look at him, he's down flaps. So he's begging for updraft. Now the problem is that the real danger, not just are these crosswinds, it's the updraft. And when he is going over that fire, he is going to get an immense amount of lift. So he's going to slow engines down, but he's going to be able to do something that he normally wouldn't do, which is slow it beyond the flight's capability because of drag coefficient and lift. So he's going to slow his engines down for approach and go under the recommended speed because of the updraft of the fire. Does that make sense? So, so what happens is he's getting a push from behind from the props, but he's also getting a push from the fire, which is going to want to lift him and carry him up. So right when he goes into that fire, he is going to be down flaps to get lift. And once he goes in there, he is going to go straight flaps and then push his flaps like this to push down against the draft to stay level with a 100-mile-an-hour crosswind. It's 80. Hold on. So it's 80. I let you go all. Let me finish.
No, you
80 going across the plane, right? So then not only does he have to go ahead and maintain all of those things, maintain flaps, maintain throttle, watch his altimeter, okay? He's got to look at all of those things. He also has to check his engines because he's on a prop. So he actually has to power down and then power up at exactly the right time based on looking at the ground and where that fire's at and where those updrafts are going to be. Because if he is down flap and he loses that thermal and his engines are underpowered, right into the ground. So these guys have to, and then they have to calculate the prevailing winds, which are going to carry the slurry away from the fire, and ensure that he understands the timing of the gusts so he doesn't get a lapse of 20 miles an hour into 80 or from 80 to 20, which is either going to drop it short to the left or to the right or in the front or to the back. They have to do all of those things and not die from fire fuckballs. Now, I'm going to show it to you. Right. Damn it. Let me finish.
One quick add-on.
Let me finish. No ad. Hold on. Because I want him to see it. See that exhaust coming out of the back? Yeah, the exhaust is coming out the back. He's throttling down a little bit. His flaps are down because here comes the lift. He balances out. Flaps go straight. And now watch, he's going to power up. See, here's his drift from the wind.
Oh my God, the wind.
Now watch, he's going to kick it. Boom, and right there, Flaps come down a little bit so he gets some lift. It's amazing. Leroy, go ahead. Sorry, I wanted to finish that segment.
No, you're good. Right there, what you're seeing is an aircraft that weighs, we're just going to call it 70, 80,000 pounds, right? I don't actually know what the real number is. But here's another consideration, because Matt is absolutely correct. While a pilot has to do all of that stuff, right? Calculate for the winds, calculate for the flaps, engine speed, all of that stuff. While he's doing that, what makes it even more challenging, if you can imagine, is at this moment, he is now going to open those doors, drop that entire compound, which is going to change the weight of the aircraft that now he has to further compensate for, because what once weighed 70 or 80,000, pounds now weighs 30,000 pounds less,
Oh my God.
So there's a lot going on there.
And we're not done, because I want you to go ahead and recreate this situation. You see this guy in the first shot, which...
Yeah.
She's not a dropper. I think she's your guide plane. She's your spotter.
Yeah.
So this plane right here is flying through that area and reporting that information to the C-130. He's not a dropper. So this is just a dual-engine aircraft that's going in. Look at the glide capability. Yeah, look at the glide capability of those wings. This thing is designed to not need as much from engines, come in at a very low angle. It's got maneuverability. It's like a Beechcraft almost, but it's bigger. I don't know what it is. It might be a Bonanza. I don't know. But the point is that spotter is checking the prevailing winds and doing all of that and relaying it. Then this C-130 is then going ahead and relaying the information to the next spotter coming in. And this is how it goes. Just bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam. And someone asks, is this hitting? Absolutely, it's hitting. Let me tell you why it's hitting. Because they're not trying to hit the fire right now. They're trying to hit where the fire is going to be. Yes, you can knock down flames, but the previous ones did that. You see how, let me show you something. You see how white the smoke is right here and how dirty it is? This means it's cooling. If you get that white smoke, you're getting two things. You're getting steam, and it's bone dry, so it's not the fuel. It's the previous drops of slurry and water that they put on this thing, and you're getting a shit ton of steam, and you're getting dark smoke, which means that it's not burning quite as hot. So what they've already done is knock down the flames, which would be right here in this spot. And he is going where the fire is pushing down to, or where it's coming up, and he's hitting this spot as a proactive drop, if that makes sense. So watch it again. He absolutely 100%, because look where he puts his belly. He turns at the last second. He's coming in flat, and he opens his belly up and turns. So
he's trying to compensate for those winds. Because look how far over that compound flew. Yeah.
Yep. So he's trying to hit this area down in here. And this thing is getting snuffed out in this area. And that's how you can tell. So my dad taught me, like, we would be able to see a fire 10 miles away, and we would be able to tell what type of fire it was. My dad would be like, that's a brush fire, or that's a house fire, or that's a chemical fire, or it's forest, or whatever it would be. And it's a controlled burn. And I'm like, how do you know? He's like, well, look at the line of the fire. It's all equal levels and color of smoke. So it's controlled, because anything that size, if it wasn't controlled, would be much bigger. And he would just know these things. He could tell by the smell what type of fire we had. I mean, my dad, he understood fire. He taught fire science. He was a fire captain. And, like I said, like I said last night, just everything that Leroy just told you about backburns and doing fire lines and cutting in through underbrush and raking are all the things that we would anticipate. But this is where the rubber meets the road. These are the guys who saved my house. And on hour 29, they came and they slurry bombed our house, just covered it with pink slurry. And let me tell you how much it costs to take a wooden 3-story house in the middle of the mountains. Every single square inch of that thing had to be sanded, powered wash, and boards needed to be replaced, because it ruins everything. But at least you have your house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they hit it. And once you hit an area with slurry, it's not burning again. It's not going to burn again unless it was already previously on fire. That stuff essentially is like a blanket, a fire blanket over an area. It's not going to hit again. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that. Leroy, thanks for letting me finish. Whoever is, just somebody ban those people. If somebody's in here doing stuff, I don't even see these people. Just get rid of them.
I don't either.
All right. Another video I want to show you. Leroy, thanks for chiming in. I wasn't trying to be rude with you. I wanted to kind of segment, you know what I mean? I wanted to finish that. So if you want to know what it's like in a fire, I'm going to give you the best example. A lot of people will tell you, go to a campfire, you know, when it winds up and you feel the embers hit you, you know, or you get smoke in your eye. No, none of that. None of that. Because that's not what it's like. What I want you to do is I want you to get a smoke bomb. And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to get bacon grease. And I want you to turn the bacon grease on and heat it up till it starts splattering. And then I want you to take your face, put the smoke bomb in the middle of the bacon grease, light it. And I want you to stick your face about 6 inches from that bacon grease, and you'll have an idea of what it's like in this type of wind with this veracity. Yeah. And you'll understand what it's like. Because it's not a campfire. That's a gust. That's 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour when you're sitting out there with your buddies. It literally feels like bacon grease. These embers are so hot. They will touch something and ignite almost simultaneously if it's not fireproof. I'm going to show you what it's like in real time, and you're not going to believe me, but it's the closest thing that I can think of being inside of a blowtorch.
Yeah.
And then once you get that smoke and once you get that bacon grease, I want you to go ahead and throw it against the wall and light your whole house on fire. And now you'll understand what these guys are going through, because here's the video. Do not do anything I just said. Watch this, Leroy. It's going to make you shit. I want you to watch. People keep saying, Matt, they're Lahaina lasers. Why are the trees still standing, but the entire homes are gone? Folks, this thing is moving so fast. It's moving at 5 acres per minute. And it's moving so quickly and so fast that it's called a flash burn. And these trees, the only thing that's going to burn on them is fuel. Like palm trees, it's going to be the husk and the palms that get shedded each year and collect at the base, which then turn into protecting it from frost. That's going to catch. Palm trees all have hair that are going around them. It's like a coconut hair. Those will catch and burn like a cigarette. But the leaves and the palm fronds, those things are extremely dense, extremely thick, and they're very green. And it takes a long time for them to burn. So those trees will fringe. They'll blacken, but they will not burn. They are not like a pine tree. A pine tree will burn all of its needles, and then it will combust from the inside, and its pine tar and pine resin will explode. Palm trees don't do that. Here is a McDonald's with palm trees right in front of it. I happen to know right where this is at.
Do you see in the background the other McDonald's sign that's like halfway burned, and that particular arch of sparks is just like perfect? It makes me think that they ordered an extinguisher.
That's right. That's funny. All right, watch this and listen. Okay, do you see these spots right here? This is what I told you about. Yeah. This is at the bottom of the palms. This is this kind of cigar-like material. This is going to burn. But all of this right here, these thousands of embers, are going to stay lit. They will not burn out. And the reason why is because they have turned to carbon. And very similar to a lantern, which burns its wick netting. If anybody is at an outside camping lantern, you burn that cloth and then keep it, and don't ever touch it because it's ash. It will keep its light as long as it's not interrupted. So what happens is these ashes superheat, burn its fuel, turn into a carbon, and then the carbon catches. It's all a process. It's a
like
process.
Flying charcoal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the difference is that it burns its fuel source and then reignites. And then does not burn its fuel source because a carbon burns a lot slower. You can take char cloth and put it in a stainless steel bottle like this, put it over a campfire, it'll come out blackened. And then you can strike it with a stone and a knife and put a spark on that and carry that char cloth, and it starts fires like amazing. This is what happens here. That fuel burns, it then reignites again, and it becomes a floating briquette. Leroy is absolutely right. And watch what happens in full time. This is insane, guys. This is why this thing moves so fast. It's throwing hundreds of thousands of matches everywhere. And this is why fires are happening 3 miles, 20 miles away. You're like, well, why are all these fires 20 miles away starting? This is why. Prevailing winds are carrying matches across miles. Here it is. I tried to explain this to you last night, and I spent all day finding this video. I couldn't find one that did it justice. This is what it looked like in Colorado. This is what it looked like in the Hayman fire, except the trees that we had were 80 feet in the air, 75 feet in the air, 500-gallon propane tanks launching 1,000 feet in the sky and blowing up like bombs. Pine trees exploding and seeing them just on the, I mean, hundreds of thousands of trees. Now, I want you to imagine this is a couple of trees and some shrubs in a small location. I want you to imagine now hectaacres on fire. And now you understand why they can't put this out.
And
I don't care how much fucking water they had.
There's a difference there too, because those are palm trees. What you're talking about when you're talking about conifers, those are usually just packed with resin, which is just, it's so much more flammable. God, what a nightmare that is.
I'm just letting you guys know. I understand the hesitation around California, and I know they've got to do controlled backburns. They got to go ahead and clear deadfall. They got to go ahead and allow these lightning strikes not to get out of control. They got to do controlled. I'm with you. I'm agreed. But every hydrant not working, folks, when you have 800 homes who are seeing a fire coming, everyone's spraying down their house. Everybody. I understand your concern. People are like, well, why can't you use ocean water? Well, there's a couple reasons you can't use ocean water. I said last night, it requires desalinization. And it doesn't have to be drinking quality. You just have to remove the salt content, the high enough salt content. Because here's why. If they start putting hundreds of thousands of gallons on these fires of salt water, nothing will ever grow. Not again, but you can't salt the earth. Do you guys know what salt the earth means? It's a biblical term. When you salt the earth, it kills the natural nutrients. You can't change the pH balance of a soil and expect it to grow. So vegetation won't grow back. Machinery, equipment won't work. When they use this and they drop this, animals can't survive with salty and brine environments. And when you mix that slurry, the black sludge with that salt, it becomes toxic and corrosive. So it kills the natural minerals in the area. It kills the chance for life to go ahead and continue. You can't salt the earth. It's cutting your nose to spite your face. Surprisingly enough, a fire is a very good thing for most land because it fertilizes the soil. It's a natural processes. It allows new growth. The growth usually comes back richer and more dense. All these things are true. But what you can't do is you can't salt the earth.
One of the things that we've talked about on the show in the past, which was why places like Ukraine are so important to the world of fertilizer and agriculture, is because they supply something called potash. Think about the root word of that, ash, right? So when Matt is talking about these fires that are creating all of this ash, right? It's because that's one of the precursors to fertilizer. So it's actually very good in terms of aiding the earth to grow a new round of life. It's a circle of life, but at an agricultural level, right? It's just unfortunate that, so many people's homes are mixed into that. And I think what the latest numbers that I've seen is that there's an area in Hearst where 855 acres have been burned. Eaton is around 10,600 acres. The Sunset Fire, which was only at 42 acres, but the big one is the Palisades Fire, currently sitting at 17,234 acres burned. And that's where a lot of the Hollywood stars have their homes.
So people ask me what the slurry is made of. I asked my dad the same thing. Water, ammonium phosphate, or ammonium sulfate. You see the same thing outside of usually the casing on the first layer of a signal flare that you pop off is also similar, which is fire retardant. So if there's a secondary fire, that ammonium sulfate and ammonium phosphate won't catch. But there's also a clay, and it's called bentonite, and it's a really thick, muddy type of material, like a clay. And then there's like colorin or colorant as well, which is like iron oxide, and then one other material, and I can't remember. But there's some other.
That must be what gives it its red look. Is that iron oxide?
Yeah. Oh, and then there's like an anti-corrosion in there, and I don't know what it's called. But that when they drop it on cars and farm equipment and houses, that it's an anti-corrosion for metal. So there's like 5 or 6 things in there, but that's what the slurry is made of. And essentially just smothers the fire. And it's a fantastic, but it destroys, it stains everything red. Like when we got back, it literally looked like we had a red house. I mean, like somebody painted it red. And it took tens of thousands of dollars for the insurance companies to come in, sand the decks, replace the wood. I mean, the windows, everything needed to be replaced. Most of the houses, we were one of like 5 houses on that mountain that survived. If you look up the Hayman fire in Colorado, that thing burned hundreds of homes, tens of thousands of acres, and like 6 homes and myself. And honestly, this isn't tooting horns and shit, but my dad and I saved most of our neighbors' homes because we were on spot watch all night. And as soon as we saw it, my dad was scanning with binoculars all night.
Yeah.
And when he saw a spot fire, we walked down to the bottom of the hill, got our shovels, poured dirt over it, got the pine needles out of there. Okay, I took care of Bobby's. I don't know if we have any more donations. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Leroy.
Matt, what do they do with brick homes? Like, obviously, a red brick home, it's going to stay red, but you can't really refinish that. What do they just power wash it? How does that work?
That's all they do. It's just a power wash. They have solvents that will take it off of like equipment and stuff, but wood is different because wood absorbs it. So brick is actually preferred. Like if you have a cinder block home or stucco home, that's actually you can't power wash stucco because it'll chip, but most homes like wood have to be sandblasted, dry sandblast, and then a sand. Most need to be replaced. So unless you had some sort of sealant on your deck, most of those decks don't, and they're going to need to be replaced. But the point is that at least it's standing and it's there. But this is a huge thing, man, and these things save lives, and you gotta understand that most of these guys out here fighting this fire, y'all, they don't have water. They don't have hoses. They have pickaxes, they have fire axes and shovels, and they have fire blankets. That's what they have. And that's some of these guys, they go into the footprint of a fire and they fight the fire in its path, and they have to make a split decision to lay down in a previously burned area and hope that you don't get high winds where essentially you get fire tornadoes that don't need the actual fuel from the ground. They just need the oxygen in the air in order to continue to survive. And that's what you see is you see these long tornadoes that are burning over here, but they are literally snaking around the earth. And these fire tornadoes take place. And you could be in a dead zone that's already burnt, and you're still going to get burned alive because it's burning a mile away. But this funnel of fire, like a snake, is going. I mean, dude, some of this shit, firefighting is one of the dumbest, most insane, brave jobs I've ever seen. I have no desire to ever do it. And my nephew and my father and my wife's uncles are all chiefs and fire captains. These people are brave beyond belief. Yeah, it's incredible. Here's the thank you, Judy. Here is the segment with Joe Rogan I was telling you about. We did ours 3 years before, but this is great to listen
Burn
to.
through
Give it a listen.
LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman once.
We said at the beginning of the show, a few well-placed flares with prevailing winds, and you can burn down trillions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this, in my opinion, California, okay, resi homes, all this, we're going to hear some really sad stories. But James Wood did an interview on CNN, and people are saying, oh, James Wood, you wanted to kill everyone in Gaza. How does it feel to lose your home? You fucking people. You know what? We need to bring bullies back. You know, it's time. We got to bring punching people in the nose back. And I understand that, you know, fighting and kicking people's asses in the Wild West, we've civilized, but we're so civilized that we're creating people who are uncivilized. And it's time to start smacking people across the beak once in a while and letting them know, you know what? You say something like that, there's more than consequence from me suing you or me calling your boss. I'm going to break your fucking nose. James Woods is a lot of things, but come on, man.
I could see, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60s, 70s kind of thing, when someone insulted your wife or when someone, took a direct pot shot at something and verbally, they went way out of bounds and could have been anything, right? Way back when, if you punched a dude or if you, got into an altercation because, you corrected what they said, but in a physical way you made that correction, it was forgiven right then and there, man. It was, hey, man, I was out of line and I got clocked. He bloodied my nose and that was the end of it. And we all went our separate ways. Today, it's a different animal altogether. People have just, what it is? This is it. This is what did it right here.
Yep. Because
people have cameras on their hip now. And so everything's ready to be sent off to court.
It's not just that. It's, yes, the phone, but I believe the lack of God in people's lives is that God did not necessarily make the intellectuals act right. The intellectuals understood it behooves us to have a civilized society. It took the knuckle draggers and it took the people who wanted to do bad things to have consequence to help them stay straight. And God was a balance in the overall ebbs and flows of the devil and the angel. And now people are only listening to the devil. And those people who aren't intellectuals, who aren't able to have self-restraint, who aren't able to self-motivate, who prey on the weak, who are susceptible to addiction and sin, like we all are, those people are vulnerable and left without a healthy dose of fear.
Yeah.
And God leaving people at an ever alarming rate is a big concern for me. And I'll tell you, I am so happy to see that Bible sales have increased because it means people are looking for answers. And maybe the answer isn't in the Bible, but at least people are starting to look. I'm feeling a change in the temperament of the people where we are going to go back to things that we've abandoned. And I just hope that the constant pull and tear that's taking place with the moral fabric of society can withstand just a little bit longer until this next generation hopefully has God instilled into their lives. Because I think people are listening to their parents and listening to their grandparents and listening to us and other people that are saying we need God back in our lives. If not just to control the people who don't give a shit without him. I hate to say that. I hate to say it. I mean, I would love it that everyone accepts Jesus Christ as their Savior and becomes a Christian. That would be wonderful. But right now, I just want the people who have no direction to find some fucking direction and stop hurting each other and stop destroying what we have as a country. That's my hope.
I feel like during the 60s, there was this, heavy left-leaning liberal, make love, not war, man, and people burning bras and stuff like that. People got a little bit carried away with that to a point where, that was known as like the drug decade, right? That's when people were smoking pot and LSD became a thing. And then after that, right, during the Reagan years, we'll say, there was like this renaissance of conservatism. And a lot of people, post 1960s and in early 70s, post Woodstock and all of that, there was this little bit of a shift towards conservatism, enough at least where it seemed like more people were going to churches then. More people were listening to the news and saying, what the hell is wrong with this country? I feel like that was the correction that was made. And I'm hoping, like what Matt was just described, I'm hoping that is the same renaissance that we're seeing now as a correction for the last, 12 years worth of left-leaning leadership.
Bear with me when I say this, but I don't need people to believe in God. I need people to believe that Satan exists. And there was a time in my life where I felt religion was proving the existence of God. And that was difficult for me to do. So all I had to do was prove the existence of evil. And that is very easy to prove. With the things that you and I have seen in my life and your life, from the things that I've seen in my civilian life and military life, evil most assuredly exists. And if there is evil, there has to be good. Because that is the ebb and flow of life. If there is black, there is white. If there is hate, there is love. If there is up, there is down. If there is light, there is dark. Everything in life is very simple when you look at it from a yin and yang perspective, that everything has an ebb and flow. Everything is equal, even though visually it may not seem. The amount of matter that we have in this entire existence, there will be no more, there will be no less. Everything that exists already exists. It simply changes form. And if that's the case, then the human soul most assuredly has to go to a place where it changes form. If that's the truth, and everything simply changes form, then we simply change form too. And if we can bridge the gaps of science and theology and say, is it possible that science does not make sense without God and God does not make sense without science? And can we come to grips with the fact that maybe proving that God exists isn't the necessity? It's demonstrating and showing people what evil truly is and pointing it out. Therefore, their only path is then to God.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what he meant all along. Bringing his word isn't necessarily preaching the Bible to people, because there's a resistance to that, but demonstrating this is evil. And if there is evil, there has to be good. And the only thing that we have, the architect, the blueprints for good, the only thing that we have that lays it out from the dawn of existence is the Bible. And whether you agree with that or not, Christianity is about love, and it teaches you how to be good. Now, my faith in God, everyone knows where I struggle. My faith, I struggle every day. I am the sheep who's gone astray. But it doesn't mean that I don't see the absolute necessity for people to find God again.
And I covet and I am jealous of my neighbor. I am jealous of the people who have God in their lives. It is something I wish I could achieve. And every day I get closer. But we need to find it again. This is why this video right here, James Wood, a controversial person, has said some very insensitive shit over his life. Leeroy mentioned him. I'm going to give it to Leeroy at the back half of this. Let him watch this. We're going to put on that video in just 2 seconds.
The Dumb Store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUMB10 to save 10%. Visit thedumbshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
Belief in a God is not required to know that there is a good and absolute evil. I didn't say that you were required to believe. I said you would know. There's a difference. Knowing and belief are two different things. I don't believe in science. I don't believe in the sun. I don't believe in man and women. I don't believe in God. I know. And I don't know if the Bible is correct. I don't know if it literally is a person who died for our sins and died on the cross. I don't know if it's somebody who sits in heaven, or it's Valhalla, or it's paradise, or it's with Bingu Nitu from freaking Diametics. I don't know any of those things, but I know there is good and I know there is evil. There is only one source that I have ever found which truly defines what good is. And that is my point. I know that exists. And if something can tell me what evil is, then I should probably listen to the same thing that defines what good is. Leeroy, go ahead.
One of my very favorite quotes of all time is that the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he did not exist. And that was by Charles, I always screw up his last name, Baldier, something like that. And
Right.
so what Matt is describing is this yin and yang effect, right? You could make the argument for philosophical reasons that you want there to be the existence of the devil. You want to make sure that that guy exists, because for the sake of yin and yang, if he exists,
And so does
then
God.
conversely, so does God.
I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm not saying you have to go to church. I don't go to church. I have read most denominations that are available. I have seen them enact. But belief and knowing are two different things. Do I believe? I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the teachings of the Bible, and I don't know if God exists. I don't know that. I don't have that data. That requires faith. It's not belief, it's faith. Because belief is being shown something and then investing into it wholeheartedly. With faith, faith will constantly be in question. That's why you're only supposed to have a mustard seed of faith. A very small amount of faith that will turn into something else. And that is what I'm asking people to know, is that if you can identify evil, you will live a good life. You will understand the difference between good and bad. And if you can identify that, then you're living a Christian life, because that's what the Bible teaches. Don't you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to find God to live a Christian life. But if you are looking for guidance to help you get there, it is the only book that I know that lays out very clearly and succinctly through the times of what good is. That is my point. Here's the video of James Woods. This is where humanity is needed. Man, dude, I know James is... I like
always
James.
liked him.
I love him. I love his movies. I think Vampires is one of the best movies ever done. It was so cheesy and horrible.
It was
but
so good.
So good. But this, to me, someone put this up. No ceasefire, no compromise, no forgiveness. Now they're saying, hey, sounds like James Woods wants a ceasefire now. Oh, come on. Come on, you people. Please. Here it is.
can't walk. I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk up these hills. It's like Mount Everest there. It's like, pretty steep. So, it's just you. I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. She came out. I'm sorry. Just, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house.
Oh my gosh. James Woods, we all hope that you will be able to rebuild your house, maybe starting with that little Yeti piggy bank. And we're just glad that you're okay and your wife is okay.
I'm sorry,
You have your
I'm
lives.
usually-
Even our heroes can need hugs.
This is
you know?
real and it's
Yep.
raw.
I thought I
and
would
you
be stronger than this.
you don't need, you are, you know what?
It's
It's strength is not measured by whether, you hold in crying or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have
they're
so much
great.
strength, and
They're
we
great.
appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process what's going on. So, James, and also keep us posted on your 94-year-old neighbor and everything going there. We're going to continue to talk, and we wish you the very
He's
best.
okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
They found him. He's in the hospital.
He's okay, yeah.
I just worry.
Hey, Maureen, don't spam chat so much, okay? We don't need to post a whole bunch of stuff. It spams the chat way too much. Do it like once every few minutes, right? But don't put like 3 right in a row. Keep it 1. Wait a couple minutes. Put another. That helps out. We've been trying to limit that because it pushes conversations and people can't keep up, and it's a lot. So, real simple, 1 sentence. That would be awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Everybody knows where Robert Trinkteller is. Call me.
Yeah.
Let me know. All right.
That's
Thank
an
you so
important
much.
message. And also there's this app.
Listen, it comes down to this. I don't care that that's CNN. I don't care that that's James Woods. That's a human fucking being. And that's another human being who is putting politics aside and demonstrating compassion. I am so sick of this. I don't hate liberals. I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate anyone except for people who have lost the ability to love. Those people I hate. Can't stand those people.
I heard
Anybody
Dennis Prager once describe, and he was at a church synagogue. He was at a synagogue when he was giving one of his presentations, and he kind of gave one of the most appropriate descriptions towards his philosophy was, that his goal wasn't to, his goal wasn't that he hated anybody on the left. His point was that he wanted to, that's what it was. He didn't want to defame anybody on the left. He wanted to defame the left. And if you do that and make your arguments more about policy rather than people, then you will never come across as a mean person, and you will always have that hopefully that shred of humanity and dignity that you can carry with you and then pass that torch on to somebody else. Your goal should never be to, get into a pissing match with somebody else. Your goal should be to discuss policy. That's what his point was. And it's just like what Matt is talking about.
This is from the Los Angeles Fire Department, approved 12/17 of 24 by the Fire Commissioners, Board of Fire Commissioners, Kristen M. Crowley, Fire Chief, Los Angeles Fire Department Services, for received and filed. Other checkmark. The Los Angeles City LAFD is facing unprecedented operational challenges due to the elimination of critical civilian positions and a $7 million reduction in overtime variable staffing, V hours. These budgetary restrictions and reductions have adversely affected the department's ability to maintain core operations such as technology and communication infrastructure, payroll processing, training, fire prevention, and community education. In addition to these impacts, the reduction in V hours has severely limited the department's capacity to prepare for, train for, and respond to large-scale emergencies, including wildfires, earthquakes, hazardous material incidents, and large public events, specialized programs and resources such as AO, Air Operations, Tactical EMS units, Disaster Response, and Community Emergency Teams, CERT, which rely heavily on V hours, are now at risk of reduced effectiveness. This report provides an in-depth analysis of these cascading impacts, underscoring the critical need for resource restoration to ensure operational readiness, firefighter safety, and the delivery of high-quality public service. Now, people didn't run out of water. That's what they said. So I'm going to show you a clip where they said, we didn't run out of water. And then they said, we ran out of water.
Real estate developer Rick Caruso criticized former LA mayoral candidate and real estate developer Rick Caruso criticizing the city's response to the windstorm and fires. He says officials should have been more prepared.
The real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spreads so quickly. And the second is, you got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. So that's a failure, whether on DWP's part or another city agency. But this is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block, and you may be able to make out the ember storm that we're in the middle of right now. This house is going to be a total loss. They have no water to put on this fire. They are standing by because they're trying to save the home that is next to it.
You know what? This shit ain't easy to find. And I'm going to make my plug at 8:30 because it's time. Don't Unfriend Me show is 100% funded by, you're seeing it, in this chair. Okay? Leeroy is funding it with his time. Amy funds it. My wife funds it. And all the mods and the viewers. Come on. This show, in my opinion, it may not be the most exciting. It may not be the most, polished when it comes to news. But we cover the things that people need to know. We cover the truth. We cover the things that, if you want to learn something, we have years of knowledge sitting on these panels that we create. You've got 40 plus years of military service sitting right here in one capacity or another, or executive leadership, or running corporations. These things translate. And if you want to see it happen, you want to see it continue, which a lot of people do, especially with how many people we have watching right now, 140 plus, we have another 125 in the network. So we're sitting at almost 300 people watching, which is, dare I say, fairly decent. We need your help. And the only way to do that is going to thedumbshow.com/donate. If you have the ability to help us out, please do. It doesn't take a lot. If everyone gave $1 right now, we hit goal. Yeah. So if you have a second and you're not hurting, because we don't beg for this. If you are in a position where you can't, don't. But if you are in a position where you can, don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good. If you have the ability, please do. If you don't, that's fine too. But you could share, like, and subscribe, and at least hit the like button. Right? Go wherever you're at, Twitter, Facebook, share it, hit the like button, follow us so you can see us at 7 o'clock on weeknights. We're here all week. And we have really, truly broken some of the best stories, in my opinion, and some of the best coverage. Our Israel coverage was spot on. Our coverage on Ukraine was spot on. Our election coverage every year is spot on. Baltimore Bridge.
Our election coverage was precise. Matt's was really. Mine was off. But Matt's coverage, Matt's prediction on the actual electoral count, like 3 weeks ahead of the election, was spot on.
I appreciate that. You listen, we don't get there.
I was off. But
we lift as a we lift as a team. We lift as a team, okay? Here is somebody who I also love, Adam Carolla.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorite people on the planet. Like people ask me, who would you want to meet? Whose show would you want? Adam Carolla. Hands down. This was done, and I want you to listen to this because this is a very moving 1 minute segment from Adam Carolla in front of Oversight Committee in regards to DEI practices with the fire department. Here it is.
Geez, I want to talk about my white privilege so badly. I graduated North Hollywood High with a 1.7 GPA. I could not find a job. I walked to a fire station in North Hollywood. I was 19. I was living in the garage of my family.
Some people said PayPal is having problems right now. If PayPal is having problems, Venmo is a great option, folks. It looks like other people are getting through. We just received a couple donations right now. So hang tight. We'll just keep working at it, and thank you.
Home, my mom was on welfare and food stamps, and I said, can I get a job as a fireman? And they said, no, because you're not black, Hispanic, or a woman. We'll see in about 7 years. And I went to a construction site and dug ditches and picked up garbage for the next 7 years. I got a letter in the mail sent to my father's house saying, your time has come to do the written exam for the LA Fire Department. I took it, and I was standing in line, and I had a young woman of color standing behind me in line, and I said, just out of curiosity, when did you sign up to become a fireman? Because I did it, or a person, 7 years ago, and she said, Wednesday. That is an example of my white privilege.
Thank you, Amy. Right before we go off on that, I want to go ahead and do something right away that correlates with this video. This is one of the assistant chiefs. Listen, I am not trying to disparage people of color or diversity hires here. What I am trying to disparage is there are other more important fucking things to worry about versus somebody pees sitting up or sitting down or what color their skin is during these situations. I don't give a crap.
Right.
If somebody is a lesbian, black, whatever. If you can't do the job, you shouldn't have the job. This isn't about DEI. This is about hiring the best possible people. Like I said, I know a ton of firefighters. A ton. And I don't care what color they are. What I care about is, can they do the job? This is LA Fire Department Assistant Chief Christine Larson. This is...
Somebody might understand.
There is a mentality in this business, in the military, in firefighting, in police force. Thank you so much, Janet Crenshaw. We appreciate it. We're about 125 away, folks. Thanks so much, everybody. We always like to go a little bit past. If we have the ability, we know you guys will. I'm not going to keep talking about donations. Thank you for doing what you're doing. But there's no man left behind. And that mentality is based on meritocracy. It's the assumption that the people who are to your left and to your right have already met the requirements for you to put your life on the line for them. That is what no man left behind means. And you have to assume that positive intent. So when you get people like Bergdahl, who probably we should have left and let him get decapitated and tortured for the rest of his life, we put our lives on the line for him because we have to assume that he checked those boxes, even though we know he didn't. I don't care about the color. I care about the mentality, because this shit right here is toxic. Listen to this. See if you can take the Adam Carolla, take this and put it together. By the way, this is Adam Carolla if he was a 300-pound lesbian, because she kind of looks like him. I guess Leeroy didn't even look. Here it is. Leeroy, you listening, buddy?
I see it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Here.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
That is the worst ad ever.
He got himself in the wrong place if he's in a fire. Have you ever interacted with the fire department?
Yeah. Yeah.
And have you ever said, oh, you know what? I'm so glad you're white, because it really puts me at ease that I get to, hold on. It really puts me at ease that I get to work with somebody that's the same color as me. Have you ever said those words in your life?
No.
pretty fucking racist, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine somebody? Hey, do you have any white people instead of you? You're a little too dark. Can you imagine what would happen to that person?
What a horrible fucking human being. They should be totally off the fire department. That person got
Liv's
themselves
pissed.
in the wrong position in the wrong place.
You got to get on mic. You don't get to yell at me from here. Get on mic. Get on. Don't get on picture. Just get on mic. Say what you said so they can hear it, because I'm not going to repeat that. Liv's pissed. She was watching this out here. Go. All right, your mic. You're hot. Go.
Am I? I gotta put headphones in so I can hear Leeroy. Hang on.
Well, all right.
Okay.
She's trying.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
I get you.
What a horrible fucking human being this person is. You got yourself in the wrong spot. If I have to carry you out, are you fucking serious? You have got yourself in the wrong spot. This person's a bitch.
Whoa. I told you they've been cussing more than me lately. I
Yes.
don't even cuss at all.
Well, it was a she, correct? I couldn't tell.
I don't want to assume her
honest.
gender. She might have to carry me out of a fire. I don't want to assume her gender.
I couldn't tell. But usually you don't, when a fire happens and you're stuck in the house, it's because there's a fire and you can't get out. You didn't choose to be in that location. Just, wow. What a horrible, horrible human being. They do not need to be in any type of service that has to help people and humankind in any way, shape, or form. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just what a, wow.
Go
I
ahead.
saw that my mouth hit the floor.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Go ahead, Leroy.
I want you to imagine this. You, in 20 years' time, you get sick, right? And there's something wrong with your heart. You end up going to the doctor. Doctor's like, look, we can fix you. We're going to take you in. We're going to get you surgery. You unfortunately have to have open heart surgery, right? You lay down on the table. You're laying there. And in comes your doctor, right? Now, do you want that doctor to have succeeded in their profession because of meritocracy? Or this person who is about to work on your heart, literally putting your life in his hands, do you want that person to be a DEI hire? Because there's only one right answer.
I don't care what color skin. Jeez.
And unfortunately, this is a case where that same level of thinking, that same logic, needs to be applied to every other profession. Doesn't matter if they're a heart surgeon, if they're a cop, if they're a fireman, or anything else. I just want the right people, for the best people, the most well-qualified people for that position.
So you mean white people?
I don't know. I'm not white.
The other comment that she made is when you're in trouble and you want somebody to be there that looks like you, makes you feel more comfortable.
Only
if I'm in a burning house and I need rescued because I can't get out on my own, and a Hispanic man or black man or even, an Indian woman from India comes in to rescue me, I'm going to be like, no, I'm sorry. I need a white woman that's 5'5" and 145 pounds and likes the color pink to come rescue me because I only feel comfortable with besties like that. No, fucking rescue me. Get me out of the house. Wow. Frustrating. Okay, I'm done. I'm done on my rant. I'm going to go now.
Okay.
Because Ethan wants to play basketball. So I got to go.
Ethan wants to play basketball?
Yeah, his little hoop upstairs. He's been bugging me. He got the cricket cages done.
Can
so
you
now
make
he's
sure
like,
the game's on?
he's watching the Notre Dame game.
I know, but can you make sure my game's
Yes,
recording?
I already checked. It's recording.
Okay. I had you on camera, but I had you blurred the whole time.
Thank you. I appreciate that you didn't have me on camera.
That's what we do. Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Love you.
Yeah, love you. So we got some donations to put in, by the way. Okay. So do your damn job. Don't make me hire somebody who is my skin color. So
Could be a DEI hire.
So they can get the job
Right?
done.
If Matt hires somebody, it's going to be a DEI hire, and it's going to be a
Lower?
blonde with a big rack.
Lower next time. Blonde with a big rack. You just said my wife doesn't have a big rack. Hey, Liv, guess what Leroy just said? Okay, so, okay, we're shifting gears. Enough fire. Dude, I don't know if you've seen this, but we went up like 250 since this show's been on. It's like,
I think
it's,
that.
yeah, it's just, we went viral. It's huge. All right, here's the thing. What makes a man? It ain't this.
You don't fucking deserve to be here. Fucking quit. You piece of shit. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better, you fucking whiny piece of shit. None of you deserve to be here. Back. Back. You better move with a fucking purpose. Belly. Feet.
What the hell is this?
Back.
Just watch.
Belly. Feet. Back. Hurry up. Belly. Feet. Back.
Get over here. Where's you? You fucking slow fat one. Both of you. You're gonna sit. Get over here, fucking quitter, unquitter. What the fuck you unquit? Never heard of that shit. Sit down. Sit down right here. You two are gonna share this fucking cookie. All of you start crawling. Start crawling. Yeah. They're gonna crawl and suffer until you're done with that cookie. Till the both of you are done sharing that fucking cookie. Go. Eat the fucking cookie. Eat the fucking cookie. All right, they're gonna suffer until you eat, till you finish the fucking cookie. Cool. Yeah, just sit there. Just sit there. Eat the fucking cookie. They are gonna suffer until you're done eating it, and you better fucking share it.
I've never experienced it. Or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Some of the things I learned. Yeah. It's like the That's what we do. We just fucking roll it up.
$18,000. Those guys paid, and the United States military would do it and actually demean you in the process when you actually fucked up. And they'll teach you something, because none of those things are teamwork. Everything those are designed for individual contributors. And that is not the point of SEAL training. That is not the point of Ranger training. It's not the point of Delta. It's not the point of British SAS or Mossad. It's not the way it works. Everything that's designed in the military is not for ICs. Thank you, Paul. It's designed for team building and inspiring. And if you need an attitude adjustment, those things take place, but not like that. That's stupid. To spend $18,000 when you could have done that for free, saved your $18,000. But that doesn't make a man. That is demeaning bullshit that is doing nothing to build credibility, because here's the thing, the end goal is undefined. Is it to make you tougher? Is it to make you stronger? Is it to make you more athletically fit? Is it to make it that you can carry a sledgehammer in the beach in the middle of fucking winter? Because none of those things define who you are, because those personal tests aren't designed for you. They're designed for somebody to make money. To me, people who take part in those things truly need to stop and ask themselves the question, what are you trying to accomplish, and why are you trying to accomplish it at 40 years old? Because if you have not put yourself upon that path yet, you have to ask yourself the question, why are you doing it now? And is this the very best way to get to it? Because quickly, and then Leroy gets it. The reason you do those things is because there is a level of immaturity and an undisciplined mind. And you must get people to know how to discipline themselves and follow simple direction. That is why you teach those principles in SEAL training. That's why you teach that in basic. That's why you teach it in the Crucible. It's why you teach it in every Special Forces training, is to discipline the mind and to ensure people can follow basic and simple direction. If you're 40 years old and you can't do that, trust me when I say this, that fucking thing ain't going to solve it for you. Go ahead, Leroy.
How can I put this?
You're a beta douchebag.
So when I'm watching those kind of guys on the beach struggling, I get the idea of the business model, which is to make someone feel like they went through, you know, buds, but at a 20% level as opposed to the actual SEALs, which are doing it, you know, full on with giant swinging erections, right? I get it. Here's the thing. Matt is absolutely correct. For everyone who knows me, for all of the people who are watching this show and have found me on Facebook and friended me, you've seen some of my posts. I am a chief in the Navy. And when we do chief season, it is to do exactly that. It is to instill a level of teamwork, not individualism. You can think as an individual in terms of, all right, what's the correct move here? But the only appropriate way to do that is when you're thinking as an individual, but to somebody else's benefit. Right. So you're not thinking of yourself, you're thinking of your buddy, which in a weird kind of way is still teamwork. And so all that horse shit on the beach with sledgehammers, that doesn't teach anything. We actually have a rule when we put someone through season, which is that, hey, thank you, Ashley.
Yep.
We actually have a rule when we're putting someone through season. We have a series of exercises that everyone is supposed to do. Right. And you don't put someone through these exercises unless there is a lesson at the end, a teamwork building lesson, something like that. And if there is no lesson, if it's just for the purpose of eat the fucking cookie, you're wrong. You're already in the wrong. And the people that are on the beach who were sitting there listening to that horse shit, oh, okay, sir, I'll eat this cookie while I'm sitting here because you're telling me to. No, you're already wrong. You're not a leader then. A leader would get up. A leader would get up, join his buddies, get back down in the surf, do the push-ups, do the work, and not eat the fucking cookie and tell that guy to suck it. That's what a
Or
leader
shove
would do.
that cookie down that fucking guy's throat because that's an alpha move. That is an alpha male class. You aren't learning anything if you're just being literally putting your tail between your legs and being a neutered bitch. You know what? You may get your ass kicked. That's not seer training. That is nothing even remotely what seer training is like. Seer train is more of a mental fuck than anything. The physical,
the slaps.
Well, but you get my point. But that's all mental. It's all mental breakdown. Even the physical is for mental. Seer is completely different than that. Buds is different than that. Basic is different than that. This is not, even if you look at Full Metal Jacket and you look at that basic, that's about as close as it used to be. It's not like that anymore. But that was pretty much Marine Corps basic. And Marine Corps is still one of the only basic trainings which is still challenging and difficult for a reason. And Army basic is fairly difficult for the undisciplined mind. Navy and Air Force has become so freaking pussy that my 14-year-old could go through it and survive. But when I was in Navy boot camp, wasn't a shit show like it is today.
No.
It was always easy.
Not everyone gets hugs like they do today, you know?
No, Dane, I'm not upset at you. I'm just saying that's not seer training. That's not even remotely what it's like. See, that is not seer. Seer is a series of disappointments that don't get better. It's the best way I can describe it to you. It's a series of disappointments that don't get better. And the moment that you have any faith or hope, it's taken away from you. So that is just it's like being married. That's what it's like. It's like you can never win, you can never be happy, you can never laugh, and all joy is out of your world for at least 72 hours. Okay? That's what it's like. But even Buds, I will tell you, the instructors at Buds, they want to see you succeed. They roll most of the guys out in Fat Camp and before Hell Week. They get the shit bags out.
once they get there, they want to see you succeed. They want to see you get through the next evolution. They want that. But if they want you out, you're going out. They will find a way to ring you. You will self-select. But it will always be your decision. Always. But trust me when I say this, they know the guys who aren't doing the push-ups. They know the guys who aren't lifting the raft. They know the guys who are not taking care of old Bessie and not rolling that log properly. They know all these things.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis. But what they're not going to do is treat you like they want to kick your ass. That's not the way it's designed to do. They are fair and firm, and they're not always likable. But they are not there to be a dick. And I had some RDCs who were dicks, but that was their natural way of doing things to get me to understand. It's different when you get to special forces. They push your mental and physical capability to help you get better. That is not designed to help you get better. That is a $18,000 course for people who are pretending that they know what the military's like, and they have no fucking clue. They don't know.
But that whole time when that dude is yelling, I'm getting like fucking flashbacks where I hear the people through the bullhorns going, "Hurry up, hurry up! What are you doing? Why are you doing it?" You know, and you're like,
there is a level of failure in all of these, and nobody is perfect. Because if they can't identify, if those instructors can't identify what your flaw is, they are not doing their job. Because they would rather find it out in buds than find it out in month 9 or find it out during selection. You don't. Everyone has a flaw. I know guys who went through buds. I have good friends who went through buds. I have guys who rolled buds. I have guys who rolled back several times. I have guys who rang out. I have guys who've made it through buds. I've had guys who served on teams. I have friends who have been on DevGru. I've got friends who have worked Delta. I've got friends who have worked for things you don't even know about. And I will tell you, the one commonality is they will all tell you that they had one major flaw that their team helped them overcome. Every single one of them. Whether it was a mental, physical, maybe it was an ailment, maybe it was in drown proofing, maybe it was, in basic demolition, whatever it was, CQB, CQC, whatever it was, they struggled at something and weren't very good. And that is the absolute truth.
There is a author who actually he's been by where I work and has given this chart, and it looks like this. And I'm going to just performance, then trust. And it's divided into like a block like this. And so I just drew this out. But basically you have performance.
Pull it back a little bit.
Oh, sorry. You have performance, and then you have trust. And you will have people, you would think that you would want somebody who is an absolute high performer, right? And like trustworthiness is somewhere, there's some level of pliability to that. And that's actually wrong. And this guy named Simon Sinek, he said that he was able to sit in on some of the BUDS training. And what they're actually looking for are average performers with a high level of trust. Somebody that will go to the fire with you. And then from there, they can all work on the performance thing later.
And have a high level of learning agility.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's not just performance and trust, right? They've got to be learning agile. There's like 5, thank you, Bobby. There's 5 basic requirements that you look for in a human being in all facets of whether it's military or corporate office work or a self-starter. It's team build and inspire. It's managerial courage, self-awareness, self-motivation, and building team rapport and trust. Like, those are the basic fundamentals. If you can get those 5 things in a human being, hire them. Leroy's absolutely right. Most team guys are not average. I disagree with that Simon Sinek and I don't disagree on. I do like him, but I've seen this say, and I do disagree with him on this completely. Is because I don't believe that it is their average. They may be average in performance, but they're not. Just to make SEAL selection and just to go to BUDS, you have to be the top 2%. Physically, you've got to be the top 2% just to even qual for BUDS.
Yeah.
And then once you get there and to get through BUDS and to get to Hell Week, you've got to be the top 2% of the 2%. And then actually be selected as a SEAL, you have to be the 0.2% of that 2%. So I respect his trying to relate it to human terms, but these are extraordinary people who they want to be able to humble themselves until it's necessary not to be. To be calm, to be cool, to be collected, to assess, to move, to act, MOA, move, observe, act. But then when it's time to take the leash off, that they are cold, effective, precision-based warriors. That's what they want. Who have a high level of trust for each other and have a high level trust for command and can improvise if shit goes haywire. That they want those people. And that training that you're seeing right there, all that does is breaks. That is the break down somebody portion of boot camp that happens in week 1 and week 2 without the buildup of week 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is the bullshit. And these guys are going through this for a month and a half, 2-3 months. All you're doing is teaching that person how to be a real good bitch for their husband, for their wife.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Here's another really.
You don't fucking.
Oh shit! Sorry. Hold on.
That was.
Go ahead.
You're good. That was probably my number one favorite book of the last 4 years that I read, and it was called Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow. And what this guy did was he took exactly what you're describing, which is some level of mental nimbleness in decision making, right? The ability to react to something quick and hopefully make it a good decision, but then to recognize when you need to slow down, because when you do slow down and you're able to process things correctly, then you make better decisions. And so this book, it's a really fascinating read. It's by a guy, Daniel Kahneman.
Kahneman. Yep.
Kahneman.
It's Kahneman.
And he's just a brilliant man. And he defines kind of the way people think as these two modes of thought. You can think fast, you can think slow. When you think fast, you're more reactionary and you're more susceptible to make more mistakes. If you can think slowly, so generally speaking, you want to react as slowly as you can in a given situation. Now, of course, if there's something going on, gunshots in a mall, you don't want to think too slowly, but you still want to process it correctly so that you're not doing something stupid. Yeah, that was another good book.
One of the things in the book that he talks about is heuristics, which is the process of thinking fast and missing things. I just turned up Leroy's mic. If somebody's mic is low or something, just let me know. I can fix it on the soundboard. Leroy, give me a test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
That should bring him in a little hotter. If he can turn it up on his end. I've got him at full joy right now. But anyway, heuristics, which is being able to think fast, but predictably being wrong in a lot of occasions. This is the thought process of people like myself, Leroy, and Dan Bongino, and where I learned this from. I've read the same book. They teach it in Corporate 500s. It's a fantastic book. It focuses on how to slow down your. It's under the process of slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's the mentality. When you're working with a weapon, that doing like this is not necessarily the best. Having a range of motions and mechanical systems and actuators that fire off consistent, paced reactions is how to be. This is Bongino, Leroy, my thought process is the fog of war, is sit on something for 24 hours before making a real assessment of what's going on. Now, there are times where you're going to have to make a fast assessment, but that's where it's predicated upon your discipline of telling whoever you're speaking to that I would rather have that time to assess and analyze and then disseminate. However, I won't be able to, so I'm going to give you some opinion and perspective that may not be 100% accurate when the fog of war clears. that heuristics is a gift. When you can do that and make an analysis that is extremely reserved and factual, more often than not, you will be right when the fog clears. Yep. This is the basis of our entire show. And once again, doesn't shock me that Leeroy and I have read similar books on how to think and develop and act your brain into success. Anyway, that's that. I got to show this. I got to show this video. Want to say thank you to everybody real quick. Next segment's important. It's about Shawn Ryan. Stick around.
Join WimKen.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at WimKen.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
Good to see so many people here. Get over to Wimken and get yourself on board. Great social media site. I covered the Shawn Ryan. I talked to you when I was in the gym. I was working out, and I called you about the Shawn Ryan thing. Did you ever have a chance to watch that? I know your thoughts, but tell me.
Yeah. So, talking about Romania?
No.
Or are you talking about?
I'm talking about the letter that he received from Kleinsberg or Lindenberg, the guy who did the bombing with the Tesla. And let me just preface this. I called Leeroy and I said, dude, you got to watch this show because it'll give you kind of chills and goosebumps because you know it's factual. You know this guy is saying, but the things that he is saying are not real. Like Leeroy and I talked about gravitic devices, and we're like, yeah, whatever. We talked about what happened in 2019 in Afghanistan hitting the drug houses. This is common knowledge. A lot of the things in there were complete bullshit. But the point is that saying he has a VBID, saying that he was running for Mexico, that it was just like this guy released information that made him seem credible, but it was a voice from the grave, and it was just very eerie. But go ahead, Leeroy.
When we were talking about this, just full disclosure, both Matt and I were really, really excited at certain points in the conversation, and we were really, really skeptical for others because you have to be able to again, thinking fast, thinking slow. Rather than react, I was able to kind of slow down everything that was in that email. And when he was talking about anti-gravitic devices and, all right, now you're talking, look, I have some level of knowledge given where I work. I should know about these things. I can be a little dubious. And I wasn't fully like saying, oh, he's full of shit. But you have to be able to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff in certain aspects. And every great lie is about 80% truth. And in his case, a lot of that letter had a lot of truth in it. It's just that he took certain liberties with things that maybe he had certain privileges to know certain things and then ran with it. And so we were able to, between Matt and I, when we were kind of examining this, we were able to listen to all of that and go, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. I'm not sure about that one. That sounds a little, I don't know. Right. And we went through that entire letter, broke it down. And I venture to say that we were 99% accurate with our assessments.
Yep. Yep. Now, Karen just asked, she said a couple of good books to read in order to become better at analysis and intelligence. I think there's
she's
a couple
asking for recommendations, or she has recommendations.
Yeah. No, she's asking for. There's a really good one. It's called the Intelligence Analysis, and it's by Robert Clark, and it's like target-centric approach to things. There's also another one that really doesn't have anything to do with like IA or IS type work, but it's called Blink, and it's subtitled "The Power of Thinking Without Thinking." That book really kind of teaches you some basics of how to quickly identify consistencies with the inconsistencies, if that doesn't sound too much like an oxymoron. Malcolm Gladwell writes the book. I'm trying to think of another one. There was one more that I have in my list. Structured Analytic Techniques. And it's by Richard Huer and Randolph Fearson. And this is like literally breaks down the step-by-step process of analytics through military intelligence. Robert Huer is an ex-CIA, started off in intelligence as well, and very, very good books. But I would really read Blink, because that really doesn't focus on an intel analysis, but it teaches you how to recognize the consistencies and the inconsistency. And when you can do that, it helps you uncover the thing that isn't true, which allows you to go ahead and set whatever you're focused on in the right quadrant of your brain. And when you can put something from the memory cortex to the decision cortex to the creative side, and it allows you to put that into that quadrant, which will help you discern the answer quicker, or at least a path to get to the answer. The way to describe that is this. So if I hear something, and historically I can go ahead and pull data to prove that that's not true, well, that's using the memory quadrant of my brain. If I have to do predictive analysis, I'm going to move into the creative portion and start creating scenarios and checking off the box of which ones fits and which ones don't, based upon historical context and based on factual context or historic inaccuracies. And this will help you start working on how you want to categorize whatever you're trying to work on. Example, we get the letter, Shawn, Ryan. My first is to analyze the letter and break it down into the state of mind of the person writing it. Does this letter align with the current state of mind of what we know about this person who supposedly blew up that Tesla? So I start doing analytics based upon the word choice, the overall selection of his vernacular, understanding that some of the things that he said, like Yusuf, were not correct. There are certain teams in Afghanistan and intelligence-based teams and special warfare teams that had actual call letters and signs. He used a very overarching, high-reaching Yusuf acronym that was very non-specific in an email that was trying to be very specific. That shows me a few things about his state of mind when he was writing, okay? Mm-hmm. But then I go into historical data, my own personal experience anecdotally, but also historically. Being a purveyor of information, I can start going, okay, well, what happened in 2019? Do I know about this? And if I do, what jives, what doesn't? Then I get into the creative portion. Okay, why would he use a Tesla? What's the symbology? What is his experience? Does he have EOD experience? Okay, are there such things as gravitic devices? No, they're not. It's a philosophy in physics that's like 7th, 8th generation. Okay, now I know that I have falsehoods within his. So this book can help you on the path of segmentation and how to compartmentalize information to be more effective in your analysis. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, Leroy, that was a long answer.
Oh, you're good. My top books that I would recommend, number one book on how to think, I just mentioned it. It was Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow by Daniel Kahneman. But some of the other books that I have read, and I've read a lot of books, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Intellectuals in Society by Thomas Sowell is an excellent book. There's another good one called Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. And probably the last one I would recommend, right, as a first round kind of draft pick would be The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zion.
That one's actually, yeah.
Those 4 or 5 books in there will get you to 70% of a correct thinking, because you'll have a good foundational kind of knowledge base that you can then bounce off of, thinking fast, thinking slow, and come to a reasonable conclusion on why things are the way they are. Those would probably get you through 70 to 80% of the good intellectual bar fights that you would come across.
Could I get you the other 10%, and then the other 10% is going to be your experience, right? It's going to be how quickly and how succinctly you can adapt those muscle retention and access those areas of your brain to be effective, right? Because you can have all the tools. Like, we can put you through every Intel school. We can give you every type of imagery analysis, all human, electronic intelligence, signals intelligence. We can give you just a plethora of information. But if you're an idiot, all you're going to have is a motivated idiot at the end, right? So here's the 10% that we're missing. We've shown you the successful ways to think, but now we should show you how to fail. And there is another book. I had to look it up, and I read this a long time ago by Robert Jervis. And it's Why Intelligence Fails. And it goes over the Iranian Revolution and also the Iraq War and 9/11. So it goes over how intelligence fails and some of the presumptive analysis that was taking place based on pride or based on false information or unverifiable or incontrovertible data. This is a very important understanding of intelligence, is to know where mistakes are made and how those mistakes can be foreseen and corrected. So I would start with that book and then start diving in on some of the other areas, because knowing how you fail is just as important as how to succeed. I'm telling you right now, that's a great book. It's one of my favorites.
Nice.
I can't believe I forgot it. Okay, let's get into this real quick with Shawn Ryan, because we got to go.
Yeah.
So Ryan Macbeth, I don't know anything about Ryan Macbeth. I know that he's kind of a douche plow, in my opinion. This guy went after Shawn Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't have any loyalty to Shawn Ryan. I don't even know Shawn Ryan. But
never met him.
Never met him in my life. But there's a couple things. I'm going to show you. Ryan made a video. And let me show you how it started, and then I can tell you the story. And a lot of you already know what I had said about this guy going after Shawn. Ryan Macbeth created a little meme, and it showed a picture of Chief Warrant Officer, I can't remember his first name, Shawn or whatever it was. No, it wasn't Shawn. But the Chief Warrant Officer and Shawn Ryan were both there, and he had two arrows, and it said liars. So I want to make sure I understand something. He didn't make a prediction or analyze. He, with absolutely no reservation, unequivocally said that they were lying. I will tell you this. In the intelligence world, if you make a statement like that, your career is over if you're wrong. If you look on your briefing and you say, this right here is 100% the way it is, and all intelligence efforts are saying otherwise, and you go out of the limb and you try to pull a Jack Ryan and say that he's gonna defect and bring the Red October and just pop the hatch and hand it over, you fucking better be right. Because in our business, those people are dangerous.
I love that movie.
So do I. Those people are dangerous. And Jack Ryan is fucking dangerous. Because nobody has been so right by being so wrong so many times. Because Jack Ryan, that shit don't happen. I'm just letting you know. You don't go into a briefing room with the chiefs of staff and undress an admiral. Okay? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because that admiral.
Have you ever met Captain Ramius, General?
Yes, I have.
You're like what?
I met him at a state dinner. It's like you were pretty. It also means that when I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops.
Yeah.
But it also means I keep my options open. So here's the video where he went after and said that Shawn Ryan was platforming and lying. And this happened on January 4th.
I found some really interesting people.
Is the beginning of the video.
New information has just come to light regarding Matthew Leibsberger and his tragic demise outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. I know a lot of you were waiting for this video, but I wanted to make sure I had all of my ducks in a row. I got a crucial piece of the puzzle.
Which you didn't. I wanted to make sure all my ducks were in a row but I didn't. Now, this guy's ex-military. I'm looking at his backdrop.
Yeah. Well, I've got
He
his
looks-
webpage open.
It looks like
and
a military
He
military police, yeah?
he actually has a little bit of an interesting background, but
Give it to me.
okay, so Ryan McBeth is an intelligence analyst, software architect, cybersecurity guy, YouTube content creator of military intelligence and disinformation topics. He has appeared on Newsmax and
Yep.
is an intelligence consultant.
Yeah.
And consults for Velocity and open source and information warfare. Here's the thing, right? Former Army.
Yeah, he's not Navy, he's Army.
Primary military specialty on his page says that he was an anti-armor infantry. Secondary military specialty, cyber warfare.
Where?
Why?
It's okay. Go ahead. No, I'm doubting this bullshit. Go ahead.
It says that he was an E7.
Okay.
And looked like he spent some time with a tank division.
Right.
So I'm
19,
really
19 kilo. Where did you get all this training as a 19 kilo? That's what I want to know.
Right. And so I'm reading through some of this, right? It says Ryan spent 20 years as an anti-armor and heavy weapons infantryman with 2 overseas deployments and has developed C4 ISR software for the Accenture Federal Services. He lives in Silver Spring, Maryland, with a large humidor and a whiskey library. That's fantastic, but guess what? None of that suggests that you did any form of heavy-duty third phase military intelligence. Sounds
Doesn't
like you
sound
were
like
a
it to
grunt.
me either. Sounds like you were a
He
grunt
sa-
too. You also got military police behind you. I'm looking at your accolades behind you, and I'm not seeing a lot of personal memorabilia that screams intel to me.
You may have worked with some intel folks and maybe had aspired or fantasized about becoming one, or maybe beat off to one too many James Bond movies. But at the end of the day, sound like an infantryman. So you
Yeah.
should probably steer clear of Shawn Ryan.
Well, here's the thing: is like I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because there's some good and bad here. But let's listen to his analysis and we can figure it out. Okay.
I was all wrong, and I called someone a liar who apparently didn't lie about an email they received. Now, after the tragedy in Las Vegas, a man named Sam Shoemate went on the Shawn.
That's right, Sam Shoemate. I don't know why I keep forgetting his name.
Ryan podcast, where he claimed that a Special Forces Master Sergeant named Matthew Leivesberger reached out to him via email before his tragic demise. Shawn Ryan is one of the most popular podcasters in America, and Mr. Shoemate claimed that he had been in contact with Matthew Leivesberger. But the email he received didn't seem quite right, and I came to the conclusion that Sam Shoemate had made up the email. But I was wrong about that.
Okay.
At least he owns
There's
it.
more to the story, though.
No, he didn't own shit. That's not a known. No quarter. I'll tell you why in a second.
A lot more. The federal government recently had an interview where they said the email that Sam Shoemate got from Matthew Leivesberger was real.
Yeah, so we have confirmed that the document that he sent to the podcast, we know that he was the one that sent that document. That's correct.
Now, on January 4th, I was able to find Matthew Leivesberger's phone number, which is a T-Mobile line out of Colorado Springs. Matthew Leivesberger...
Wow, dude. Using those background check sites really make you one hell of an analyst. For $49, anyone can do that.
Lived in Colorado Springs, but I couldn't confidently tie the phone number into the email, so I didn't talk about it. So let me bring on Colby Scullion of Obscure IQ, which is a digital executive protection service. I've worked with Colby and Obscure IQ before, connected through the Chris Merzen Foundation, which is a foundation that helps solve cold case murders through open source intelligence. So here's Colby to explain how he got email confidence.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. So first thing that we had the last two.
Okay. So here's okay. There's so many things that are wrong with this. So I'm just going to get into it. By the way, since when do you listen to the FBI, dude? Yeah, he's military. But his claims are a little... I'm not going to question. I want to see his DD2. I'll show him mine. Leroy will show him his. I got no problem showing you my DD2. It's only going to tell you a quarter of the story, but that's okay. And if you want to go over my... You live in Maryland. You can come to my house anytime. We can sit down and have a conversation. I'm not questioning your intelligence. You seem like a smart guy. Leroy likes that you owned it, but see, you didn't own it. Because you made a 16-minute video to say, I'm sorry, but. Fucker, you didn't
get to the end of it.
Yeah, but it's 16 minutes. You heard. Let me tell you what. Here's the thing. You don't get to own. You can own a bad judgment call. You can own making a prediction based upon analytics and your experiential learning through all those years working Intel as an armorer. But you said that they were lying. You said that they both fictitiously created something and were deceiving America and said you fucking burned them and owned them. Those were your words. I'm sorry doesn't do it. It looks a little something like this. I got ahead of my skis. I'm the one that made shit up with no evidence. I jumped to conclusions. I reacted to get clicks to help my page grow. I am a pimple on Shawn Ryan's ass, and I tried to jump on his fucking coattails because I shove way too many donuts and hamburgers down my fucking throat, and I have self-loathing that is so large because I am literally deceiving you, what appears to be, about my military career, and I'm afraid somebody's going to find out one day. That doesn't feel very good, does it? I don't know any of that, but hey, I can just say it. So what you did was you called people liars while you were lying. You committed one of the biggest fucking mistakes in Intel, which is opening your mouth when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Number one mistake in Intel, bro. I learned that at day one in the Mitzi. I don't know what they're fucking teaching you in the Army. I don't know where you went to Intel school, but my first day is your mouth is best used for chewing when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
One of the first things they
Get him,
teach
Leroy.
you at Nimitzi, same school. One of the first things they teach you is when you're in front of the audience and you're giving a presentation, and those presentations can take hours to put together, right? And they'll tell you, you've got an hour to put this together, prep it, and present it to me, right? And they know it's going to be hacked up wrong, right? But they're waiting to see how you react, because what the instructors are going to do is they're going to ask you something that they know you don't know.
That's right.
And they're waiting to see how you react. And if you react by swagging it, by saying, oh, yeah, well, we know that this happened. No, you don't, right? Don't make it up. If you want to maintain your credibility in this profession, being honest the entire time is your number one key. So when someone asks you something that you don't know, you reply back with, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. Let me find out and get back to you.
Back to you as soon as humanly possible. Listen, I don't know this guy. He may be shit hot. He may have level 7 security code word Alpha Bravo Foxtrot access. Who knows? He may be Section 7. We don't know. Maybe he's Section 7. Whatever
Sector
the fuck
7,
that means.
right?
Dude, it's mixing two metaphors. Men in Black and Transformers. Pay the fuck attention.
Sorry.
Don't ever disappoint me like that again. God. Sector 7. Section.
Sector 7, I thought. What was the other?
It is. You're
what
right.
Was the other one?
What
was the
hold
other
on
one?
a second. There was. I said. What did I say for Men in Black? It was.
Men in Black. That's right.
Yeah, Men in Black, and Men in Black was there was Sector 7 in Transformers, but it was Section. I thought it was Section 7 in Men in Black, but they had everybody's name was alphanumeric. Yeah, go look it up. Because I think that's what it was. It was section. It was like whatever. When he's like, yeah, if you have section whatever, kid, section 7 clearance or some shit like that. Go look it up. I think I got it right. I could have bashed you for the wrong reason. You're a liar. You're a liar. You lie. You are a liar. So he may be section 8. That's maybe where I'm getting it from. Section 8. So my point is this. I don't know this. What is it? You got it?
I don't see it. I'm looking.
It is. It's right when they're doing the test. And he goes, hey, is it worth it? He's like, oh, yeah, it's worth it. But he says, he asks him for some information. He goes, not unless you have section something clearance. And I don't remember what it is. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe he says Omega. He says Omega something. It doesn't matter. The point, Leeroy, just find it and tell me later. So anyway, I don't know anything about this guy. He may be Maryland shit hot, right? He may be in Fort Meade and he may be writing ISR software and, you know, writing crypto and chaotic algorithms that are chaos theory and quantum mechanics and whatever. But most of the people who do that are full of shit. Just like guys who say they're in the SEALs and, oh yeah, I've killed people and I'm on this team and I'm on this team and I'm on this team. Most of the people who brag about it haven't done shit. What is it? Did you find it?
No. I found the script. I'm going literally the script.
Dude, I swear, you know what? Maybe I'm
that
you're right.
bad. I'm that bad.
No, I am too. You know I am. But there's a point in there where Tommy Lee Jones says, because, okay, Jay comes in. I think it's Jay. Jay comes in and he's Rip Van Torn. Zed. No?
Zed.
Is it Zed? Okay.
I'm 90% sure.
It doesn't matter. Who? But no, they had single letter names, dude. It wasn't Zed. There was J.
I'm pretty sure.
And then there was like P. And then who was the head of Men in Black? Who was Rip Van Torn or whatever his name was? Come on.
I thought that was Zed.
Is it Zed? But it was alpha based. Okay. In that scene, he comes in and he's talking to Tommy Lee Jones and he's doing his Rip voice. You know, you can't dodge a wrench, you can't dodge a ball. Right? So he's doing that voice. And he's like, listen, kid, if you had Section 7 clearance, I could go ahead and tell you that. But since you don't, you know, why don't you basically piss up a rope? Something like that.
Yeah.
And he may have said Omega 13 clearance, which is from
Zed.
Okay,
you're
so it's Zed.
Sit down. My name is Zed.
Yep.
You're here. You're all here because you're the best of the best.
Right. It's past that. It's past the test. And he goes and he's at the Men in Black headquarters and he's like, he goes up there and meets him and Tommy Lee Jones is like, you know, talking shit. And some Will Smith comes and talks to Zed with Tommy Lee Jones sitting in the white room in the egg-like chairs. And he says something to him. He's like, maybe you had blah, blah, blah clearance. But since you don't, sit down and shut up. Oh, wait. Let me think. Was it at the test level?
I don't know.
Dude, we're ruining this. This sucks. This sucks. I wanted to make fun of Macbeth, and now I can't even figure it out. Okay. No, keep looking. Keep looking.
Yeah.
All right.
Ryan.
And hold on. I'm going to look it up too now.
Control F. I know how to do it.
I'm searching the script. Okay. Hold on.
I looked for the word clearance in the original script, and about halfway through, they say, oh, that's so-and-so isn't cleared to leave Manhattan. Shit.
That's true. Level 6 clearance. That's what it was. Level 6. Here it is. The specific name for the clearance level is referred to as Level 6. The clearance allows access to the agency's most classified information about extraterrestrial life, and it's in Men in Black 2 that they talk about this. Agent J is told early in the first film, oh no, it's in the first, that he will gain access to Level 6 clearance, and then he goes, is it worth it? And he goes, oh yeah, it's worth it. That's when Tommy Lee Jones says it. So it's Level 6. So that's where I got it mixed up. See? We can figure it out. So I'm a liar. Now I'm a liar. Uh-oh. Okay, here's the thing. Leeroy, focus up.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Focus up. Come on now. Focus up. All right. To Mr. Macbeth, if you don't feel comfortable with the way we said things tonight, here's why. Everything that we said was exactly what you did. It was presumptive. It was knee-jerk and emotional and reactionary. And we don't know. You could have all of the accolades that you claim. I'm a little confused at how you were 19 kilo and then got into intel when you spent a life with an armored division. I'm a little foggy on the probability. But let's assume you did that. Like Leeroy was EW before he went to IS.
True.
I got IS straight out of MEPS. But let's explain why you made a mistake. The one thing you also leave at the door in intel is your ego. Because people who are egotistical, people who are narcissists, people who are self-centered, they don't make it through intel because they can never admit they're wrong. So I got to give you credit that you admit you're wrong, but you downplayed the severity of what you said. You questioned two other intel professionals with far exceedingly long experience than you have. You got a guy who was on the CIA Black Ops team, and you got a guy who was on DevGru, and I promise you, he knows more shit than you ever think you could. You got another guy who was a CWO2 who spent a lot of time in the military working intelligence, and his credibility is long. You got a guy over here who's done more than I have on this panel, and now you got a guy who also says you made an emotional decision. You called two people liars. That isn't a whoops, my bad. Whoops, I made a bad call. That is you defaming people, and you are questioning their credibility with absolutely no evidence, which makes you a double strike. One is that you're full of shit and said something you don't know. And second, you tried to sell and destroy other people's credibility when you had none yourself.
I will
Shame
also
on you,
add,
and may God have mercy on your soul. Go ahead.
I'm just going to add one quick thing. Typically, for reals, someone comes out with an assessment, and I get it. This dude did it just for the clickbait, right? This was his way of lashing out and trying to infringe upon some level of Shawn Ryan's popularity and maybe steal a few followers from Shawn, get them over to his column, right? I understand that. Slimy, yes. I understand it. You know, I wouldn't do it. I will say this. If it was for real, if this was like some sort of real assessment, then that would be like me at the front of a conference giving a presentation and then Matt saying, "You're a liar."
Right.
That's not how it would work.
Right.
What would happen is somebody would get up and make an intellectual, dispassionate reason why maybe we need to rethink that particular level of thinking. This is we need to consider the following evidence as well and introduce a new train of. You never call somebody outright like that a liar, because at the beginning of this, Matt had pointed it out correctly, which was that when you do that and you find out you're wrong, you have now tarnished your own reputation forever. And on the guy's personal freaking website, it says that he appears on Newsmax as an intelligence consultant and consultants for other areas, right? Newsmax is going to see this meme, say, "Whoa, wait a minute. Is Shawn Ryan a liar?" Right? Then they're going to see your retraction. Now you are stuck with that because the internet lives forever. And whoever the next hiring person is at Newsmax, whoever is going to be the next person to say, "Hey, we need an intel consultant." By the way, I'm right here, folks. I take checks. But they're going to look to you and say, "Oh my God, this guy had to do a retraction because he made an emotional outburst towards a former Master Chief SEAL turned CIA operative. What was this guy thinking?" So no offense to Ryan Macbeth, but you probably are not going to get hired for a whole lot moving forward.
I'll be honest, dude. If you're an intel guy and you're going to work for Newsmax, they are not necessarily the most credible source of information anyway. So it makes me skeptical the moment I see that. I really am taking umbrage with this, you using intelligence analyst. I want to know, does he have a LinkedIn? I got to take this to the next step, and then I got to
I don't know. I'm actually RyanMacbeth.com. That's as far as I went. When I saw that he was grade E7 working for an armored tank division, I was like, nothing in here.
Do you understand what that means? I mean, do you know what that means? To E7 in armored tank? That's a fucking career, right? So that doesn't translate to E7 in intel. That's not the way this works.
No.
At all. Anyway. Like, if you want to, that's a downgrade. Now, if you want to go work intelligence and you want to go be an E7 in tanks, you're still not going to have that. It doesn't make any sense. I just want to see LinkedIn. I just want to see it. Here it is. I got him. Okay. I got him. Join to view profile. Are you kidding me? I hate LinkedIn.
What?
I hate LinkedIn. Hate it. Hate it. But I'm going to join it. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this. I'm interested. Then we got to go. Folks, donations are still open. I want to thank everyone for helping donate. We are at our goal, but we always like to overdrive. Here it is, Ryan Macbeth. Intelligence analyst, YouTuber, and Newsmax contributor. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm riveted. Yeah.
Okay, here it is. December 20 and present, intelligence analyst, content creator. I own Ryan Macbeth Productions and intelligence consulting. Okay, you creating your own intel company doesn't make you an intelligence analyst, okay? That's like me saying that I'm going to go ahead and shave my balls and be John Holmes in a porn movie, okay? I don't have the qualifications, okay? Unless they wanted to make like a mini version, no. Next, intelligence and military contributor on Newsmax. Yeah, it's a made-up title, so that doesn't mean anything. Okay, here we go. At Velocity LLC, open source intelligence subject matter in Maryland. I perform intelligence gathering for clients, give briefings, and educate. Once again, that doesn't mean you're an intelligence analyst. You're a contractor. Here we go. Chief Interrogations Officer. Here we go, Leeroy. For Aeromed Lab. I advise the University of Texas at Dallas Aeromed Lab with the military applications of AI-powered whole blood delivery drones. Bro, you are working that resume descriptors like I've never seen before. Hold on, I'm not done. Accenture Federal Service. Dude, I got 17. 17. Accenture Federal Services. I protect America by working with an awesome team of engineers for CF, ISR, and surveillance solutions for, once again, you're working with ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems. Great. That's not military intelligence. Okay? Solutions architect for Novetta. Dude, I would throw your resume away. You work at a place for a year and you leave. Engineer manager at Intelligent, 8 months. Software developer, 2 years and 4 months. Research and develop, 2 years. You have had more jobs than, like, my Lord. All right, here we go. Oh boy, here's the mother lode, Leeroy. Platoon sergeant and first sergeant, 4 years and 1 month.
Oh my God.
You made E7 in four years. I am now calling complete bullshit. Dude, I'm going to fucking expose you. I am going to burn you to the ground. I love guys like you. No, I'm not done. Listen, acted as the company first sergeant, responsible for the tactical leadership and logistical needs for 18-soldier motorized assault platoon, heavy weapons and tow missile instructor, honorably discharged. He never worked intelligence, bro.
I know.
This guy's full of shit.
There is a podcast called Part-Time Hitter, parttimehitter.com/podcast, and it's got his mug posted on there. At one point, he did a podcast. Hold on. He did a podcast for them, and it says, this is the headline, Information Dominance, F-35s, and other stuff with Ryan Macbeth. And then I know in the text below it says just how advanced are information warfare and drone technology in today's military operations. In this episode of Part-Time Hitter, we explore these topics and more with my guest, Ryan McBeth. A 20-year Army National Guard veteran, Ryan brings a wealth of expertise in developing military technology. Tune in to hear his unique insights on military innovation and civilian applications of cutting-edge tech. I'm listening to that going, why is your name anywhere near the font of an F-35 when you drove tanks and you are not Intel?
Now, you're 20 years in. 4 years as platoon sergeant, I get. Now, 20 years in the E7, that's respectable. Nothing wrong with that. I would expect to, that's fine. Heavy weapons squad leader, section sergeant, infantry instructor, attended ITC and TAITC instructor schools, squad leader, site commander of multinational forces and observers in Egypt, heavy weapons team leader and heavy weapon. Okay. I got your entire resume, dude. Now, here's the next step. When you finally see this show, here's what you're going to say. Well, that's my unclassified resume. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, bro. Bro, what buds class were you in? That's my next question, right? Guys like you are a dime a dozen. I can't, but see, this is why it baffles me. I will take my 5 years of military service and my 4 years of government contracting service, and I will put it against your entire career. I will take my first 9 months in the military against everything you've done, and I promise you, I have more intelligence experience than you ever will. You are a person who used their military career, which is extensive, but good for you. Thank you for your service. And now you're pretending playing Intel. Yeah. You have not even looked at anything classed above top secret your entire life. I would be shocked if you had an SCI, TSSCI. I'd be shocked. I'm pretty fucking shocked.
I think you can.
I don't think you can either.
Are infantry.
I don't. Well, of course not.
Maybe you can. I'm not sure. But
I think it's pretty. Well, it depends. It depends.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But that being said, when I'm reading the bulk of his resume, right, and everything that we're seeing there and calling out for the people who know how to read those resumes, the key words to look for, the really important things, right? Working with any of the three letters, maybe should have been on there. Something that, not saying what you may have produced as an analyst, but you're talking about open source shit without ever referencing Intel while you were in.
Right. So where are you getting your information?
Which tells me that when you're talking about open source information, that's a guy who heard the term, figured out that, oh, that's just basically anything the media can get a hold of, and is now literally reading the newspaper going, all right, I'm going to perform analysis on this column, and then claim the title, now I am now an open source intelligence analyst, without ever having done any real Intel work. And that's a problem. For the people who actually had him on Newsmax, shame on you.
I have a question. Isn't First Sergeant E8? Isn't Sergeant's first class E7?
I think you're right.
I think I am fucking right.
First Sergeant. I don't know because I'm not in the
First Sergeant's E8. We just went through this with Walls.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong that I didn't just catch this fucking guy. Tell me I didn't just catch this fucking guy. Come on.
First Sergeant. Senior non-commissioned NCO, blah, 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 blah. It seems like it's more of a position than a rank.
No. Look up E7 and E8.
First Sergeant is a senior non-commissioned rank in the United States Army. Oh, yeah, E8. You're right.
He's top sergeant, right? First sergeant, top. Yeah.
Master Sergeant. Yeah.
That's Master Sergeant, top, First Sergeant. It's E8. This guy's fucking E7.
Something's wrong there. I'm thinking
he's a sergeant. Sergeant first class is E7. Sergeant first class is E7. So Paul Rivera says E9. E7 Army is Sergeant First Class. That's what I just said. But this guy said he's a first sergeant.
Yeah.
On his resume.
Which site did that say on that?
Hold on, I'm going to
Is
show you.
that on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So this is public. This is like huge public. Hold on. I got it right here. Let me look. Holy fuck, it's exactly what it says. Oh. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Read it.
U.S. Army and Army National Guard, 20 years and 8 months. Great.
Right.
Platoon sergeant / first sergeant. First sergeant's right there.
Right.
He's, oh, wait. No, look. Acted as the company first sergeant. I bet you they didn't have an E8, right? So he did a couple of evals.
Oh, shit. So he basically pushed some pencils and he gets to claim he's an E8. Give me a break, dude. Come on.
Doesn't work that way, though. You actually, I'm 99% sure, in order to claim that title,
that has to be your
DD.
You have to retire. Your DD 214 paperwork has to show E8.
Yeah. That's slimy.
Tell me, guys, my fucking Army pukes in here. Tell me what I'm missing. Because on his site, you said he was a E7, right? I just saw tell me where it says that. You show me where it says that.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I got it right here. What's the guy's name again?
Ryan McBeth.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul Rivera says E7 is SFC, E is MSG. When you get top, you get E9. Right. Oh, but he's first sergeant. That's what I'm saying. First sergeant. So it would have been an E8.
Ryan,
but he can't. Go ahead.
Oh, if you go to ryanmcbeth.com, right? He owns that site. On the upper right-hand corner of that site says E7.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I'm excited. Oh, my God, it does.
Fucking goober.
What a dipshit. Hold on. Here it is. So everyone can see it. Oh, it's an AVIF format, too. That's how I know I don't like this guy. Seriously, bro? Why are you fucking using AV images? Nobody wants you to copy your shit. God, I fucking hate that. I'm a technical wizard. I'm a wizard. I know, but I got to screenshot it. Brian McBeth. E7. File name E7. Think Tank was born into a poor family of Irish immigrants in the worst town in New Jersey, but he's excellent at computers in school and joined the Army to pay for his college. Think Tank is graduate PLDC. Weapons leader. He has qualified expert with an M5 rifle, BG M-71, a TOW, an AT-4, and a Javelin anti-tank system. He also holds multiple master's degrees in software and cybersecurity. When he's not killing tanks or defending networks, he's keeping the Joes on their toes as the unit platoon sergeant. I'm gonna get this guy's DD2. I got to do it. Who's a guy like Shipley who does this for Army?
I don't know.
I know he's acting, but why is he saying
Don's videos in a while?
See, acted as the company's first sergeant. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess he puts that in the descriptor, but to put first sergeant down there, isn't this the same thing Walls did? I mean, really, isn't this what that is? I mean, come on.
He made the coin with the first sergeant, emblem, embedded on it. Maybe he was careless, maybe not. Maybe he was trying to be deceptive. How do we know? This is why we tell people that you need to be precise with your actions, your claims, and everything, especially when you're trying to give the public your resume. Because if you embellish anything and you get called out on it, well, guess what? Same thing here. What we're talking about when we tell people that as an intelligence professional, if you get caught lying, your credibility is gone. Nobody in that complex, nobody in that industry will ever look at that person and say, "Oh, they're trustworthy." No. This is the same thing.
Hey, the M5 came out in like April of 2022, April 2023. It's 6 hour. It's like their new like 277 or some shit. I don't remember what caliber it is. Yeah, it's a 277. It's a 27. It's 6.8 millimeter 277. It's a Sig Fury hybrid cartridge. It's the it's called the XM5, not the M5. But that was 2023. When does he say that he was? What year was he in? Let's see. I got him on LinkedIn. Hold on. When did he retire from the military? Because how is he getting qualified? And this guy doesn't look like he would. His BMI is going to get him past.
No way.
Yeah, there's no way.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the X.
Yeah, how did he qualify in something that wasn't around until 2023?
Didn't come out right. Right.
Oh, dude, he's been out for a while. He's been out for a while. So he got out in 2014. So how is he qualified on the M5, the XM5, 6-hour 277? How is he qualified on that? If a state-of-the-art weapon system when he was 10 years removed, 12 years removed from the military, how's that possible?
I did a quick search on it. It looks like the M5, not when it joined the Army, right? Not when it was commonly used in the Army. When it was manufactured, first made, was 2017. And I guarantee
he's been out since. There's no way.
Yeah. There's no way this guy ever even saw one of those.
Thomas Griffith says, holy shit, Matt, this guy is equal of a corporal as an acting WO. When we did not have one, our PLQ quals in charge for a transition to go through, they did not hold the rank or pay. Well, that's my point, is he's clarifying and qualifying that he was on his resume on LinkedIn, but he wasn't. He said he held the position for 4 years. That's you're not going to be a first fucking sergeant for 4 years and not take E8. Does anyone want to? Can anyone think of an acting first sergeant role that lasted longer than a couple of months? Can anyone or one deployment? Can any military, any Army guys? Do we even have the equivalent in the Navy? Did we have anybody who acted like a fucking chief who was an E6? Or a chief who did a senior chief role?
So there is something called the senior enlisted leader, the cell.
Yep,
we call them. Yep. Occasionally they can be E6s, but only when the unit itself is extraordinarily small. And you're talking like a unit of 5, 6, no more than 10 people. But by the time you get to anything above that, it's really going to be somebody with anchors or above.
Okay, now hold on. Someone made a good point. They said, could it be the 3-inch anti-tank gun, the M5? That is absolutely true. Could be. Let's find out.
Yeah, but that's his M5 rifle.
Well, that's my point. He said rifle.
Qualified expert with an M5 rifle. That's the little ribbon that they get that says E, right?
Yeah, and that's a 103 howitzer. So there's the M2A3, then there's the M5. That's a World War II. M5 is a World War II anti-tank gun. I don't think so. And I certainly wouldn't qualify that I qualified expert on it because there is no qualification. There's either satisfactory qualification and trained or untrained when it comes to a fucking howitzer. You don't get an expert ribbon for, hey man, I hit center mass on my 105 howitzer from 300 yards. Congrats, motherfucker. I zeroed that thing in 2 shots. I blew up a mall in San Antonio.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, man. You know what? You guys do me a favor. You guys go do some homework on Ryan McBeth. Tell me what I need to know. It is WW2 gear. Yeah. Okay. We're going out. Can I tell you I love our Thursdays and our Tuesdays?
Back when I got qualified on this, and I got E on this. This was real. I was a sharpshooter with this mother. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I ever told you about that.
Now, you guys have heard the battle E, right? Which is known as the big E in the Navy. You get a battle E ribbon. Well, I got a little E on my 50 cal sniper rifle with my Barrett rifle right here. Leroy, I got a little E with this bad boy. And have you ever seen these?
Yeah, I love those.
They're actual scale replicas. They actually have rounds. You got the 50 cal rounds in here. The scope optics actually work, and the mechanism and slide actually load around. And these things, 100%, they are amazing. Got a buddy.
That's cool.
The barrel needs to be retwisted in, but maybe bent a little bit.
We have fun on this show, folks, and I make fun, but this is actually a legitimate 76 millimeter round that was fired off of the USS DeWitt.
That thing's
way
a beast,
back
dude.
when.
That thing's a beast. I bet it smells like heaven. Is it brass?
No, it's steel.
It's steel. Oh, so it smells like shit. Well, brass would smell like shit too. Leroy, give us our one.
You know, I had a really great time on the show. We talked about a lot. Unfortunately, we talked about the fires, and you know, I still extend all of my sympathies towards the people of California. I don't care how you voted. I just wish you all had homes. And unfortunately, because of the failure in the planning of your state, you are now left in the position that you are. So you do have my sympathies. As far as this guy, Ryan Macbeth, dude, I would love to have you on the show. I would love to have you on the show. If you are from Newsmax and you're watching and you actually want a real intelligence background, there's a pair of us right here.
Anytime. More Leroy than me. More Leroy than me. But I'll tell you what. I am willing to put my knowledge from 30 years ago against Ryan Macbeth anytime he's ready. You want to talk about Iran? You want to talk about Israel? Anytime you're ready, buddy. You are not an intelligence analyst. You are a contractor who has jumped from job to job, building a very impressive resume that's done absolutely nothing. So whenever you're ready. Anybody that challenges Shawn Ryan after what he's done, you got some balls, bro. Like, you got some balls. Even if Shawn Ryan's a douche, which he's not, you have some balls. Like,
I like him.
Yeah, I like Shawn too. You like his balls. I want to thank Barbara for ordering a new hat and a new Sherpa. A Sherpa, I believe you call it a Hopa. Also, the other people who have ordered the Sherpa, I am going to be setting those out in the next couple nights. I just got to get your money has to clear, and then I buy them from my producer. I can't thank you guys enough. What a great time. It's been a good week. Tomorrow night, we got a great show. I think Mike is going to be back in-house. Olivia's going to be here. I'm going to be here. Can't wait to see you. And then hopefully next week, we have my nephew on, who is a firefighter in California, who has to get off duty, and he's going to talk to us. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your donations. Thanks for everything you do. We appreciate you so much. Leroy, great time tonight, buddy. I really like these shows. They're fun.
Yeah, they are. Love you guys.
All right, go learn about Ryan Macbeth. Yes.
Yeah, take care, guys. Peace
Good night,
out.
everybody. See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.